My buttons are all wrong. That has gone great already.
Okay.
Untitled.mov, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
I don't have a microphone.
Roll the title. Give it.
Want to try that one again?
What a start.
Roll titles.
No. We're rolling. We're going.
That's a
then.
different show.
Hello, this is Untitled.mov. What have we been up to over the past month? Well, over the past month, a thing happened.
A thing?
Yes, a thing.
Holy
passage
shit,
of time?
a
The
thing.
Passage of
The
time.
passage of time.
I don't
We
believe
are now
in it.
in the year 2026.
Yay.
And I've only so far typed 2025 when I meant to write the current year once, so it's already going great.
And is that because you've only typed the year once?
Yes.
There we go.
We've also had a very special bit. So if someone very special's been someone.
Do you want to put your teeth in and try that one again?
It's been someone very special's birthday since last episode, hasn't it, Mark?
Who the fuck is that?
Jesus Christ.
Yes. And also,
And also,
And also, our one and only lovely Mark's Polikovs.
who is in only one of those
you believe in the
photos?
signage of the pub that we went to yesterday?
Mark Polikovs.
Yes.
I do like to note every time we go places, Mark's does tend to get singularized here and there.
Singularized?
Depluralized.
We like to ask if Mark's is feeling plural or singular on each particular day.
I do enjoy it was Mark. It was the secret third option of Mark Polikovs. They kept the S on Polikovs, but not on Mark.
Yeah, we've had Mark Polikov before. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, we also got, cued by some of these images, we got aggressively Thameslinked and general trains. It was not good.
I travelled on the Northern Line. I was fine.
Yeah, we also got aggressively Thameslinked trying to get here today.
And you're about to get aggressively Thameslinked trying to leave here. So if you notice, about half of the cast suddenly disappearing, blame Thameslink.
Yeah,
I'm going to walk home.
we need to go home.
Well, as you see, our original plan was we could be here for most of it. Then Thameslink cancelled on us several times yesterday. So we've all decided we're making sure there are 3 trains behind us just in case.
Yeah, and I have the issue of I need to be in work at stupid o'clock in the morning. So if I get Thameslinked, I guess I'm rocking up to work very tired.
And we need to be in York on a very specific train, otherwise it costs an arm and a leg.
We were supposed to get here at 11. I left the house at 9:30 to give myself ample time in case of Thameslink. Me and Dizzy were on a platform at a Thameslink station at about 11:20 waiting for a train.
Yeah, it was the fact that when Corey got to a station, expecting the next train to be in about 5 minutes, and then sent a message saying the next train is in 40 minutes.
Ouch.
Yeah. We should explain this has been caused, as you can see up there, by someone stealing some signal cables.
Copper theft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copper theft.
Fun.
If you are watching and you are the person who nicked a bunch of copper in the St. Albans area yesterday,
Put it
you.
back.
put it back.
But the thing is, right, because of this disruption, the services were changing all over the place. None of the apps or websites could keep up. And so it was, difficult to know what trains
Except
actually-
for one.
Except for one wonderful service.
Introducing...
The Trainy Boi.
Marx has
Name
been
pending.
creating things.
So over Christmas, I was in that state when, I love my family, but you can just spend a little bit too much time with your family.
I'm
And
Mark's
so-
family.
And so I got a bit bored. And as it turns out, the UK railway network published a lot of information about the current running of the trains as open data that just anyone can subscribe to and build their own things around. Now, that data is crap. It is an amalgamation of various IT systems stretching back to about the 70s, some of which used to run on mainframes and now still run on Unix.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is it better or worse than the TFL API?
The TFL API is slightly worse, but it's close.
Right.
For those of you who don't know how bad the TFL API is, look it up. But yes, and eventually I stitched together I was tapping into the data and seeing, what I could do with it. And eventually I ended up making up the Trainy Boi, which is...
As you can tell by looking at the website itself, which is on the left, no, that's not a notepad file for notes. That is the website itself.
It's Max Polikov's front end.
A wonderful, a very good back-end developer doing front-end means Comic Sans HTML. Jobs are good.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty. I like it in a minimalist
It's
way.
very functional.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, and the reason that it has actually been surprisingly useful lately, where other sites have fallen short during the disruption, is I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because we are tight on time, but basically there's sort of two data systems that give real-time data about the movement of trains in the UK, and those are Trust and Darwin. Trust is designed for the railway industry to keep track of where trains are and where they have been, while Darwin is designed for passengers to be able to see where their trains will be. And so a lot of the time, if a train is cancelled or diverted or something, the information about that will be input into Darwin because, passengers need to see. Because Darwin is the system that powers all the live departure boards and all the train running apps. Basically, any customer-facing information that isn't through a niche enthusiast site has probably come from Darwin. Which means, and the Darwin itself has various other upstream systems feed data into it. And what that means is that, for instance, when a train has been diverted, Trust and systems that rely on Trust wouldn't know where it is because all they will know is, well, it was supposed to be at this station at this time and it wasn't until at some point an hour later when it goes back to its original route, it reappears and it's, oh, this train is here now. Whereas Darwin will have been told this train is being diverted, things are going to be a little bit funky. And also for things like when the services on the ground are changing very, very rapidly and the departure boards need to be kept up to date, that information is going to go into Darwin so that it can go straight to the departure boards. And therefore, I just tapped into the data coming from Darwin.
This was genuinely useful for us.
I mean, it told us a train was cancelled that quite a lot of Google Maps and services like that didn't know about. This is why we're leaving so early, because a train was cancelled that Google Maps said was running, and Trainy Boi told us it was cancelled. So we went, right, well, we better be off early then.
Will we be sharing the link to Trainy Boi?
Maybe once it's a little bit more polished and it has features like a search bar.
Yeah.
And a UI.
Don't need that. I mean, what I'm going to give you is an architecture diagram.
That has just disappeared.
It's okay, I've got to it. Yeah, it's also an experiment in doing things cloud native until my AWS free tier runs out and I need to find some other place to put all that data.
If you need a spare VM, I've got one going.
I'll take it.
Speaking of trains, we've been building quite a lot of our own subway networks in the game Subway Builder that we talked about once before. It's now the UK maps have become available.
Yeah.
And we've spent quite a lot of time on this.
Yeah.
It turns out making London Underground profitable is a difficult problem.
It really is. And it also turns out that when I did not realize that I had a limited budget because I hadn't gone on unlimited, and then proceeded to build a bunch of stations and then didn't have any money to build the tracks between them. And then
Oops.
It did not end very well.
See, we've been trying out various strategies to not bankrupt ourselves immediately. I jumped straight into sandbox mode with unlimited money and tried to build alternate-ish reality London Underground. It did kind of grind my M1 Pro MacBook to a halt after I got to a few hundred stations.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the current consensus of the game is it's already quite fun. It still has a long way to go.
Yeah. But it's quite fun.
Would recommend.
Yeah.
I mean, I either buy it now or wait for the Steam release.
Where it'll be more expensive.
But also have more features.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it means you get to create, and you can rename all the stations, and they're all cursed. And then when you end up with, turns out, you know how cursed bank and monument, just bankuments? Imagine bankument in alternative reality.
Thank you.
Well,
And it's even worse.
Well, the reason the bankument always turns out to be massive is that there's a lot of jobs there, which has the interesting phenomenon, particularly if you play the London maps, is that the optimal places for you to put your railway lines are where the railway lines would have been in real life.
Yes.
Because a lot of housing
down
and jobs
buildings.
have come up around the railway lines.
Yeah, shock horror. But then I always end up with the, oh no, what am I doing? I am building a perfect railway, very useful for me to get from home to work.
And
for,
no one else.
Yeah, no one else. It's directly from home to work, and I'll also build a second one directly for Michael to get to work because he wanted me to build that one. And if you live pretty much anywhere else apart from where I live or work, good luck, I guess, in my kind of alternate reality.
Because it uses actual census data, at least one person will be using that route because it'll be you.
Yes.
Digital you.
Yes. And it's just me going to work in my nice little direct line.
I didn't know it uses census data. I hadn't-
yes.
Yeah.
See, we've never actually played it, either of us. So maybe we'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
If
Uses
it's
real
highly
census
recommended.
data for the cities to map.
Would recommend.
It does sound good. I'm impressed.
I used to play Planet Coaster a lot. So anything akin to that kind of game, I'm down for.
Speaking of things at train stations going a bit wrong.
Yes. We've been out and about on the actual railway in this universe. And
As we've
seen
mentioned.
spectacular examples of signage fails.
Like
So-
this first one that's in a pub.
Yes. 4 out of 5, okay?
That's
That's a theme.
That's just a pub using a Samsung TV and then just having the source die. That's not ideal.
Uh-huh.
What's next?
The bottom one there,
Yes,
marks
that
up
was
for you
my
today.
train to get here this morning, a Greater Anglia, where you can't quite see on the slides, but on the very bottom right of that screen it just says network error.
Oh.
Handy.
And then the other 3 were all me at the same time in the concourse of St Pancras Station the other day. God knows what has gone on there.
Love the concept that you just walk through St. Pancras with your head on a swivel looking for.
Yes. Well, they were quite easy to spot. They were giant billboards with like
It looks like they're
template.
mapping screens for
Yeah.
concert or something. It's what I do.
They must have been like rejiggering something while they were there.
Yeah, I mean, it does look a bit like they're trying to do all the mapping to work out what they can put on it. So maybe they're as you say, rejigging the signage. Maybe.
Speaking of rejigging things,
We've got a lot of these this
You have
time.
quite a few.
yes, we've as you may know on the show, we once in a while look at some examples of Apple's notification summaries not doing a brilliant job. Shall we do a dramatic reading of some of these?
Yes.
Go for it.
Slides complete. Zoom possibly crashed. Drive.google.com link shared. Very useful. Next 2 trains home cancelled. John Cherry had to dash, but good to see others. That's actually useful, I guess. Bitwarden instructions provided. Opposition to imperial aggression. Reminder to play Pokidoku.
The most important reminder.
Corey was probably on platform 9 3/4. This is a
Your
priority
priority
notification.
notification.
Matthew Stratford mentions Cambridge Ards, upgraded more remote follow spots, confirmed ketchup not food, pub priority.
Mover remote follow spots.
Oops. Smartphone selection promoted, profile viewing information available, company collapse and comeback attempt details shared. This is summarizing email. Instructions for Bitward and password manager, opposition to naked imperial aggression. We're back. Crime.
Crime,
Directions
semicolon.
requested. Fox's Apple Maps potentially misleading.
Crime!
Just crime, semicolon.
Fundraising for physiotherapy chairs. Discussion about chair issues and neurodivergent individual.
I would like to clarify the context was just sitting on a chair, like, you know, when you squat on a chair like L from Death Note? That was the context to that.
Thank you. Discussion about the ecosystem supporting games on macOS and devices characteristics. No date yet. Travel accommodation not booked. Bossman needs to complete sheet.
Priority notification.
Alright. Tesla's Optimus potential for infinite revenue. Save on iconic pirate merch. Instructions to exit station. Cross the big bridge. And multiple mentions of Everybody Scream by Florence and the Machine. That last one.
It's a banger.
That last one is actually a summary of notifications from the Kobo's music player app. Why they needed summarizing? God knows.
But it gives us content, so...
Moving on rapidly,
Yes.
it's time for a little recurring segment of the show that we call Show and Tell. Now, we've got a few items to show and tell. The first one, it's a bit difficult to show because we're currently using it. It's that camera that you are currently looking through.
Yeah.
It's very dark.
Yes.
It's also slightly dismantled because we had.
And by slightly, I mean you can literally see most of the circuit boards in it. It is obliterated.
It's in the course of being fixed.
Yeah.
and we're using it absolutely.
Well, actually,
bastardized.
it worked perfectly fine. We just didn't have a power supply for it, so we needed to use a bare wire power supply and just shove it into the inside.
Before the show started, the kitchen was completely turned into a
Oh yeah, we did this on top of a hob for some reason.
yeah. Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
show the viewers.
Go ahead.
We're now attempting to get our.
Move the tripod.
While that one.
There we go.
Oh, what a beauty.
It's a bit bastardized.
We'll put the case back on at some point.
Who needs focus when you have an absolutely buggered PTZ camera?
Spoken like a true ADHD individual.
Meanwhile,
Right.
on other,
Shut up.
the rest of this show and tell segment is going to be more tell and less show
Yes.
because we've not actually brought any of the things in question. Emily, what have you bought lately?
I bought an Allen Heath SQ5 digital mixer. I've been wanting to get one for so long, but it's for freelancing. So basically, the reason I love the SQ5 is it's so customizable. So you can completely customize all your channel strips and the order in which you place your
Register now.
Ah,
You
what
got
a beauty.
all sorts of
And a
built-
box.
And I opened it on my carpet, as you do. The box barely fit through the door. And it was really bad as well. Basically, all the doors were locked from the inside and I couldn't find my house keys. And I saw the man with this massive box and I was panicking.
Man
I was
from
like,
Allen and Heath.
I was like, please don't leave. Please don't leave. I was actually begging him not to run off with the
Delightful.
SQ, but it's very exciting.
You said it was for freelancing.
Yes.
So if
that's
you need
the
an
idea.
audio engineer, hire Emily Holmes.
She's very good.
Highly
We'll
recommend.
put her contact details somewhere.
Other things. Jamie, you've done a fair bit of shopping. Have you not brought any of it?
I have not brought any of it. So I bought this
Speaking DMs.
this network switch. It is a managed PoE switch. Next, I have this cube Emily got me for Christmas.
What is it?
It is a
Cube.
cube. You can roll it like a dice, and whatever side it lands on, you can set it to do a scene.
Commands.
Yeah.
Over
So,
Zigbee.
well, currently, if you roll, if it like falls off the table and rolls onto the wrong number, your light turns on while you're trying to sleep. Next.
That's a
and
major
then
remark.
Emily also got me this Thrustmaster gear shifter for Eurotruck Sim.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you use it.
Nerds.
Yeah, it'll be brilliant. Anyway, we have to go get a train now, so
But before that, there's one more
oh,
show and tell item.
is there right?
Yes.
It better be quick.
So, Jamie,
Yes.
as you know, we've had this discussion a long time. We are both avid Android users.
Yes.
You remember it was on the show back in YTV when I first got my Pixel and we talked about it.
I now have a Pixel too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have something to reveal to you, Jamie.
Yes. Oh, that's terrible news. I'm trying my best to remember what my reaction was when I discovered this on set.
Yeah, so for context, I planned for like the past when I made this decision. What was it, Cameron? Maybe 3 months ago. I planned to reveal it to Jamie in an episode. And then Mark's booked a pub trip the day before the episode with both of us.
Actually, I didn't notice until today while setting up.
I thought you had me
Servant
when you asked what phone that was in the pub. And I cautiously went, oh, don't worry about it, and put it back in my pocket.
And then you just didn't ask any more questions.
Well, I didn't notice, so I got distracted doing something else. Anyway, cringe. Bye.
Yeah, Dave.
Bye. We have to go get trains now.
Oh, Dizzy's got to go too. Shall we spread out, or should we just... This is comfortable.
Let's. Someone left their phone.
Oh, me.
Don't.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
so anyway,
Can we try and avoid the wide and get it right somehow? Oh, what? That seemed to help. There we go.
welcome to the set, Matthew Stratford.
Hello. How are you? Happy New Year.
sound engineer, forget to talk in the microphone.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, I was sitting on it.
Oh, well, that'll do it, won't it?
Right.
Okay.
Too
well,
close to it.
Speaking of sitting on things, we've
Well-
been sitting on some news.
Well, not quite. I think, Corey, you have some observations.
Well-
Oh,
from-
yeah, the show.
I want to know how you're finding using an iPhone after many years. on
We've been
Android.
sitting on some findings.
Between
We
sounds
have.
and findings. I'm quite enjoying it, Cameron. Honestly, I'm quite enjoying it.
Very happy.
I was
What are you enjoying?
well, I don't, it just kind of works. I know I've mocked that saying for so long, but it just kind of works.
Yeah.
It's just kind of good. I don't know what to say. It's
I think that's the same reaction I had when I got my first iPhone. But this is just a good phone.
yeah, it's like we'd always joke. There's always that urge, Apple's adding this thing that Android's had for years. The problem is when Android has this feature, you'll turn it on, it'll work for like a couple of days, and then something will break and it'll not quite work as well as you hoped it would, and you'll forget about its existence within like 2 weeks. It's gone. On Apple, it just actually works. It is a useful feature, and you can just use it. I also had something Cameron introduced to me that it was quite useful, because I had a widget on my home screen for reminders, and I swapped it whenever I went into work. I'd swap it from the list of my normal reminders to my work reminders. And Cameron said, you can change that with a focus mode, right? So that led me down the rabbit hole of focus modes, which I ended up, and now I have an entirely different home screen that just switches over when I get into the office based on my location. It's all just very nice.
See, what I've got mine set up to is that because I barely ever use my personal phone while I'm at work, I have it automatically go into battery saving mode when I arrive at the office.
See,
and then I have my work phone do the opposite. I have it go into battery saving mode when I leave the work or when it's outside working hours, because I don't use it outside working hours. Genuinely useful features.
what was the other thing that I liked? I remember something I was going to tell you and I forgot.
You've been playing with shortcuts a bit, haven't you?
I have been playing with shortcuts. Oh, this reminds me, the one thing I adore, I wasn't expecting to enjoy or forgot it was even a thing, but I want more of them now, is the action button. I want more action buttons. Give me more.
So
I want 5
everyone
of
else.
them. I want the whole side of my phone. That should all be action buttons all the way down. I'm not on the camera, but
Wasn't that the thing that when it first came out, we said that's useless? And now,
because it was.
because I keep having actually what I've got at the moment is I have it so I don't know if we'll be able to see. So when I hold down the action button, it brings up a list of shortcuts that I've set up
that's
because
clever.
because I was all like, oh, I'd really like this to be on the action button. No, I'd really like this to be on it. I just want, like I said, just like give me more. Any space on the side of the phone, it should be another action button. They should be covered in them.
At that point, you basically go, like one of those MMO gamer mice with like 50
Oh, the buttons
macro buttons on the
I want
side.
that.
Anyway, that's exciting.
It's very exciting.
But next,
I've just bought a new laptop.
Give
Maybe
him another 9 months.
I did say this at the time when those MacBook Airs came out at like $1,000. If they had came out a couple months earlier, I probably would have bought one instead of a framework. Also, I was saying this to Marks last night. I only see I'm enjoying this phone enough that I only see if in the next 3 to 5 years, I only see myself buying a new phone under one condition:
foldable.
good Apple foldable.
Well, we'll see.
If the Apple foldable comes out and is good and is still decently, not incredibly outrageously overpriced in a couple of years, I might think about it.
Speaking of things to think about,
The news. No, the bug report.
the bug report.
Let's
This is
talk
a
about-
little segment on the show where we talk about times when technology has gone a little bit wrong. Yes, starting off with Microsoft are finally killing off the RC4 encryption cipher. Now,
Hooray.
What's that mean, Marks?
so RC4 is an encryption cipher that was developed in the 1980s. And the thing about RC4 is that for a very long time, I can't quite remember when it was broken, but it was as early as the mid 2000s. It was late 2000s, early 2010s. It was discovered to be kind of horrifically insecure, and thus basically a lot of security systems have been moving away from it. However, one security system that had RC4 at its core was Microsoft's Active Directory, which
Is everywhere.
yes,
For
think,
no good reason.
think of any reasonably sized enterprise network with lots of Windows devices. They will be using
I mean,
Active Directory.
Think when you were at school and you'd go into the Windows computers at school and you'd have one account and on any computer you could log into it. There you go. That's Active Directory.
Yep.
You've encountered it.
Yep. By mid-2026, Microsoft will finally update the defaults on Windows Server to not allow RC4.
They've not done it yet.
No.
This isn't news. Get rid of it. We'll do it later.
No, here's the thing, though.
The can down the road.
The fact that the reason this is newsworthy is because it's taken them that long to kill it off, despite it being well known that it's horrifically insecure.
I think there was a recent, another high-profile recent hack that involved RC4 and lawyers and stuff.
Quite possibly. I don't have the source for that, but that is entirely possible. Speaking of high-profile things, so
I'm enjoying the auto iris on this new camera. It very much does not enjoy the screen suddenly going full white.
I just get a bit of holy exercise.
Hang on, can we cut to that? Can we go to the white, please? Okay, so this is with the white. Ta-da!
Hey!
And the problem is, if I turn
Oh.
auto iris, it will suddenly become completely overblown, and I have no idea how to fix it. Yeah.
It does look like we're fading the black and back out.
I think that screen is also terrible. Let me go and check that it's not terrible.
Anyway.
Yes. So, a serious security issue was discovered over Christmas. I think it may not quite on Christmas Day, but a serious security issue was discovered in the database MongoDB, which is used for lots of companies for lots of things. It was one of the most popular databases in the sort of Web 2.0 boom, and is still used in a lot of places. Now, this was bad. It was a coding oversight that meant that if you sent certain naughty requests, you could read random uninitialized memory from the server.
When you say naughty requests,
I did say naughty requests.
what?
I said naughty requests.
That's what I'm saying. When you
Yes.
say that, do you mean malicious hacking requests or asking for porn? What's a naughty request?
A naughty request is, in this case, a specially crafted packet that is designed to make the MongoDB server reveal information that it shouldn't be revealing to the client.
I see.
Yes. Yes. So it was essentially possible to send certain carefully crafted requests to disclose contents of arbitrary memory on the system, which is bad because arbitrary memory could have anything in it, including things like passwords and encryption keys and literally anything.
Your mother's maiden name.
For instance, yes.
Your father's maiden name.
Now, the other thing that makes this interesting is that the security issue itself was published on the 19th of December 2025, which is just before Christmas. Just before Christmas. And then I need to double check the date on this, but yes, on Christmas Day, a fully functioning sort of so-called proof of concept, which is code that can trigger the exploit, was made public by the security researchers who found the issue. You do not do that.
Dick move.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes, the way that you normally do this is that you publish some, enough details about the exploit to sort of give an idea of its seriousness and to encourage people who are running it to get their systems patched. And you want to give them a little bit of time. We saw that just last episode with the React CVEs, where the specific details of how to exploit them were intentionally withheld so that it would be more difficult to the hope was that that it would be difficult enough to exploit it that by the time it was figured out, enough people would have patched their vulnerable systems so that anyone exploiting it would be less effective. And that was again the hope here. However, the patch was released 5 days before Christmas, which is a period when lots of companies will have things like change freezes because they will know that if you change stuff right before Christmas, there is a very good chance that you will break stuff and people will not be around to fix it. And then particularly on things like Christmas Day, which is a public holiday in lots of places where you will have either only critical or no staff working, to then drop a fully functioning proof of concept against, especially where, despite recommendations from security professionals, lots of people still have their MongoDB databases publicly accessible to the internet, which means that you could just use a tool like Shodan to find all MongoDB instances accessible to internet and then run the script against them and see what you can find. Now, the other thing is, there was no reason to drop that proof of concept. Like, I genuinely don't understand why the researchers decided to release it. And then it had the interesting impact that a lot of the discussion around the issue shifted from, oh, this is a really serious security issue, to, oh, the people who found it are jackasses. And
you are.
they had a point.
Marks. Your middle finger was not caught on camera there. There we go. Oh, okay.
Excellent. So yeah,
They deserve to. It's
if
fine.
any budding security researchers are watching the show,
Don't do that.
that. Just don't.
Or if the people who did that are watching the show,
I find this
Stop.
unlikely.
Please don't.
no, stop watching the show. We don't want you.
I have intentionally not named them on the show. It's not too difficult to find, but
Yeah.
still. Anyway, shall we move on?
What are we looking at?
Another set of security issues that was announced not quite on Christmas, but close to it, was... So GPG is a tool for signing and encrypting messages. It's like one of the classic tools for things like encrypted email, or when you are downloading Linux ISOs, actual Linux ISOs. Then often the distros that release them publish their public PGP keys so that you can verify that the download that you got is authentic. Just to clarify one thing, PGP is a standard for cryptography, of which GPG is one implementation. By far the dominant implementation, though. There are some other PGP implementations, for example, Sequoia, which is written in Rust, but by far the most popular...
macOS Sequoia.
Sorry?
macOS Sequoia.
No. But by far the most popular one is GPG, GNU Privacy Guard, which is written in C. Now, at the 39th Chaos Communications Congress, the CCC, which is essentially a giant hacker conference annually in Germany, there was a talk which had links to a website with an absolutely brilliant domain name, which is gpg.fail, on which were disclosed not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, not 13, but 14 security vulnerabilities in GPG and GPG adjacent software. Not all of it was in GPG itself. Some of them were fundamental to the protocol. Some of them were specific to the GPG implementation. Some of them were bugs that various security tools had in slightly different ways, but had the same fundamental root cause. A lot of the time it was things like C memory safety issues. And some of the bugs have been fixed. Many of them haven't. Some of them have been declared as won't fix by the GPG maintainers.
Okay, I want to understand more about that. Is that they don't think they're serious issues?
Yep,
or...
pretty much. The maintainers reviewed them and don't think that they are serious issues. And evidently, the researchers in this case disagree, which will be why they have chosen to go public about it. Because they are not the sort of people that we just talked about. They discovered these a considerable time before and spent time coordinating with both the developers of GPG and other tools in the ecosystem to coordinate on fixing them, releasing patches, and only then publicly disclosing the vulnerabilities. But for quite a few of them, no patches were publicly available by the time that they went public. So I can only presume that they essentially got tired of waiting or tired of the excuses of the maintainers. I don't know what happened there behind the scenes. A lot of that will stay behind the scenes. If you want all of the grisly technical and cryptographic detail, and there is a lot of technical and cryptographic detail, gpg.fail.
Nice. The next one is, it's less, oh no. This one got skipped. Oh, I don't know if I ever told you that. Oh well. Next one, this is less in detail, more just funny. League of Legends players worldwide weren't able to log in because Riot forgot to renew their SSL certificate.
Oops.
This is not even the first time this has happened.
Oops.
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 I hope they've set a calendar event by now.
I hope they just have some form of auto renew on it by now.
Well, yeah, but the bare minimum would just be a calendar event.
Yeah, please.
So why would they not have auto renew?
I don't know.
It's possible that they're legacy systems that don't support the various standards for automation.
Yeah.
Or it's possible that they need things like EV certificates for which you do need a certain amount of human intervention to get them issued.
Right.
Or they just haven't had the time. Or they just forgot.
They
Either
forgot.
way,
Did Riot forgo?
Riot for gore. Speaking of for gore, the news.
Here we are.
GitHub.
Yes.
Poke.
Yes. GitHub caused a bit of a furore at the start of this year.
Oh, yeah, what?
A furore when they
English.
announced pricing changes for their Actions product. GitHub Actions, for those of you unaware, is a tool that lets you do stuff when things happen in GitHub. Need I say more?
Do stuff when things... Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's, for instance, when a new version of code is uploaded, it will run tests on it and build it and publish the build somewhere. Now, there's two ways to use GitHub Actions, which is either you have GitHub-hosted runners, that is, the virtual machines that execute the workflows that you define. You either pay GitHub to run them for you, or you use your own compute using what are known as self-hosted runners. So GitHub still provides the infrastructure to manage what jobs are going to be running on which runners, but you provide the compute. Now, self-hosted runners are free because you are
It's
providing
your own
the
compute.
Yes. GitHub seemingly thought that was too good of a deal, and so they announced that they would be introducing a $0.002 per minute GitHub Actions Cloud Platform charge, whereas they would be charging for you using your self-hosted runners.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's basically what everyone said, and they backpedaled on the change.
Yeah. Before we go on to the next one, Marks, can you cut to the wide so Mia can see what the PTZ looks like? Hi, Mia.
Hi.
This is what it looks like.
Cool.
Yeah, that should be enough.
Well, we're in a...
That was it.
There we go. Marks, would you like to shuffle into that one, and then we can frame him up closer on us? Thank you.
Matt's had to put down his Fanta and go to the control software. Can we zoom in a little closer on the wide to the three of us?
We're so professional. See, I used to worry about doing this stuff on air. I don't know why. It's not like anyone's watching.
Hello. Nope, that's too far.
If
You were saying?
the reviews are in,
The reviews are in. Seems decent.
That has been after much strangling by our ever diligent technical crew.
uh-huh.
I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's got no casing on it.
While we're in this
Thank you.
weird intermission bit, where are the dogs? Are they just
Asleep.
okay? Fine.
Oh, yeah. We're also going to
thought
use it as
they hadn't
dog
got locked in a
cam.
room.
But
Yeah.
Dog's
but
gone.
Foreshadowing is a literary device. Anyway,
Shall we end this weird intermission and move on to good content?
let's.
Nets. Bye,
Well-
Mia.
Bye.
Stay.
Now, this was an interesting government report that came out. So, a few years ago, the government introduced the National Security Act, which made its law and essentially tightened up laws around supporting terrorism and foreign threats. And last year, the
We at
government...
Untitled.mov do not support terrorism.
No, we do not. And last year, the government commissioned a barrister to do a...
Barrister?
I don't know.
Yeah.
To do a independent review of how effective the laws are and whether there are some things that should be tightened up. Now, there's a lot to digest in the report, but one particularly interesting thing that was highlighted is the definition of hostile activity, which is a rather broad term in the law, which has a component of a hostile act, which is an act that threatens national security, threatens the economic well-being of the United Kingdom in a way relevant to the interest of national security, or an act of serious crime, and that the hostile act must be carried out for on behalf of a state other than the United Kingdom, or otherwise in the interests of a state other than the United Kingdom. Now, national security is a legal term that is famously not very well defined for various reasons that you may or may not choose to read into. But one point that the barrister conducting the review pointed out is that hostile activity does not require being done intentionally. It is possible to unintentionally commit hostile activity. And one example that he called out is that the developer of an app whose selling point is end-to-end encryption, which would make it more difficult for UK security and intelligence agencies to monitor communication, could be seen as being in the interest of a foreign state, even if it was absolutely not developed for that purpose, and therefore could be seen as a hostile act contrary to the interest of the UK, and thus have action taken against them. In other words, depending on how you read the law, I would stress this is only a theoretical reading. This has not been adjudged by a court, so this is purely theoretical. Developing Signal or WhatsApp could be seen as a hostile act against the UK government.
Wow.
Now, whether this was an intentional choice on the part of the civil servants and lawmakers drafting the law or not, I cannot say. But it is certainly an interesting one to note, and it is also interesting to note that in the response from the security minister for the Home Office to this report, this wasn't mentioned. In fairness, the reply was a page and a half, so it was very broad, but it's interesting to note that this has been brought up at high levels of government. So we'll see how the definition here evolves.
Indeed. Oh, yes. Spotify.
Yes. So there was... Now, I'm going to need to turn on my VPN to load the page in question here, because a group called Anna's Archive, who are
Who I've never heard of before and have never once heard of before or visited, ever.
Anna's Archive are a group of people on the internet. I worry that I cannot be more specific.
I mean, what are we if not people on the internet?
We are not Anna's Archive.
Whose stated purpose is effectively to build a library of everything that has ever been published on the internet through more or less legal means.
Yeah.
Put it that way. And over Christmas, actually just before Christmas, they dropped a rather big bombshell, which is they have scraped and archived all of Spotify. All of it. With the metadata and all the music files, all 86 million of them on Spotify.
Oh, shit.
They haven't released it all yet, and it remains to be seen whether it will ever be released, because Spotify certainly do not want it to be released for obvious reasons. But there are some interesting things to be found by diving into the data. Because, for instance, if they sort the data by the popularity score, which is more or less a metric that Spotify computes from 0 to 100 of how much a song is listened to, they find that a massive long tail, as in 1% of songs on Spotify represents something like 99% of all the listens. And over 70% of songs on Spotify have been listened to less than 1,000 times ever.
That kind of checks out to me. I'm kind of doing that by analogy with YouTube videos.
Okay, but the difference is, Cameron, and I do get where you're coming from, and I don't mean to interrupt your great
go
thought, but YouTube videos are free to upload. It's not free to put music on Spotify.
The other interesting thing that came from this is that they estimated that as of the time of writing, the top 3 most popular songs on Spotify, which at the time were Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' Die With a Smile, Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather, and Bad Bunny's DTMF,
Sing them.
have had more streams than the bottom 20 to 100 million songs combined. There's some interesting stuff that's come out of this, and of course, Spotify has come out swinging, saying that this is illegal and unsanctioned, and they will be taking various legal action against Anna's Archive. So we'll see if this data is ever published. But what's interesting is they found a way of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so impressive. I have no idea.
Because
how that could
Spotify do go to a lot of lengths to make it as difficult as possible to listen to it outside of the Spotify app. Now, there is perhaps a case to be made that the concept of digital rights management is fundamentally impossible to implement in a 100% secure way, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you are having to give to the same person the encrypted data and the key to decrypt it, and just hide the decrypted data from them in some form. Because in theory, I could archive all of Spotify by connecting a tape recorder to the 3.5mm jack on my laptop and just setting it to play all the songs on Spotify.
Yeah.
It would take a very, very long time, but fundamentally it's possible. They have just found a way of doing it at a much greater scale.
Or they've just been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah, that is a very good point. They've not actually said how long it's taken them to assemble this archive.
Maybe they've been in a confession dial for several billion years doing this.
Oh, Cameron.
Now, we've talked before on the show about products that have been bricked
Yeah.
because, their parent company shut down or went bankrupt and was acquired, and the things physically just stopped working. And we've seen a couple of stories recently where things have been moving in a slightly more positive direction.
We have
Actually,
iRobot, not the Netflix show. The
the sci-fi novel.
The manufacturer of the robotic vacuum cleaners.
Yes, that iRobot.
which one? Wait, which one was the novel?
Don't worry.
What was the one with Will Smith?
Are you thinking Mr. Robot?
That's Mr. Wait,
No,
I'm
that's
thinking of
Rami
Mr.
Malek.
Yes, I'm thinking of Mr. Robot. iRobot's the Will Smith one. It's also a.
Anyway,
iRobot have no relation to Will Smith. Known for
iRobot
making
can
Roombas.
make
I mean, he might own a Roomba. Should we start this one again?
let's start this one again.
So
We apologize for any language they may or may not have just heard.
we're not on the radio. We can swear.
Oh, that's a very good point. Penis.
You're not on air. You can say fuck.
And we've been demonetized.
We weren't monetized.
Anyway, Roombas.
Roombas go bye bye. Well, company go bye bye. Roomba not go bye bye. Roomba stay. Roomba go and vacuum up. I've killed Cameron.
God's sake, Corey.
What? Am I wrong?
Are we going to have another blooper reel that's half the length of the episode?
Roomba's parent company, iRobot, is shuttering, filed for bankruptcy, but they have clarified that Roombas will continue to work. Is that what they said? So, Karen, you have a Roomba, correct?
Correct.
How does operating a Roomba work? Because surely there's some level of reliance on their, I'm assuming on their servers, on their...
Yeah, they have an app that you log into, but ultimately you get it. It wanders around your house and maps it out, and then you just press a button, and it will go and wander around again and hoover.
Okay.
But you do need to use the app to set it running, and so presumably if their servers go down,
You can't set it running.
you do have a very expensive big plastic.
Disc. Good frisbee, though.
Yeah, well, probably not. Probably a bit heavy, unfortunately.
Give it to some ultimate frisbee players, see what they do
I
with
think
it.
you could use it as a frisbee once, and once only.
Weren't we talking about the bankruptcy?
Yes. This is your article, Corey.
What?
Fuck's sake!
I thought that was Mark. I thought that was Mark's doing
Well-
a transition into the next topic. I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were
No,
waiting
I
for-
was...
We were getting back on topic on this one.
Right, now that we have gone into the blooper reel, I have a Thameslinked update.
Oh God, what?
Their train got cancelled.
No. Oh my god.
And the train after that was the one that they were going to get had it not been cancelled.
Oh dear. Well, the good news is Dizzy, Jamie, and Emily might be reappearing in about 10 minutes.
Not for very long.
Yeah. Oh no. When is the next viable one?
The next one that is not cancelled is... Matthew, mute the microphones because I'm about to dox where Cameron lives.
I mean,
Bye
to
bye.
be honest, if you
Mute
could be
the
bothered to
microphones.
go and reverse engineer that because you want to know what my nearest train station is, fair play. I think.
All right, well, it's 17:27
Okay.
in 20 minutes.
Okay, but that one might be cancelled too. Anyway, as we said, Thameslinked.
Not ideal.
Yeah. Do we have anything more to say about Roombas?
No.
Okay.
No.
Have,
Speaking of other devices that have been discontinued and possibly abandoned,
Oh, our mic's back up. Yeah. Okay, good.
Bose, who make like internet-connected speakers and other things, were effectively killing off a certain generation of their SoundTouch smart speakers. And initially, from what I could tell, the state of the deprecation was effectively they're fucked. But in response to community backlash, they have published the documentation for the SoundTouch web API. So the
Based.
now, it's based but caveated because what we've not yet seen is how useful that information actually is for people wanting to make use of their Bose speakers that no longer have their online services available. Because, sure, you can re-implement effectively the Bose server, but for instance, playing from things like Spotify might still not work because that was very much linked to Bose's private API keys and things like that. So you have to reverse engineer those as well. So it remains to be seen how useful this publishing is. So I suppose all we can really say at this point is it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's definitely far better than not publishing that documentation. But it remains to be seen whether it will turn out to be actually useful or whether it was a token gesture that actually makes no difference to you being able to use what used to be a very, very good and incredibly expensive smart speaker that is now effectively a brick. It's also interesting comparing it to the approaches of other companies. For instance, one that we have talked about before on the show, Humane, makers of the Humane AI pin, where, Cameron, could you remind me what the currently available functions are on a Humane AI pin?
certainly, if you would like to use your Humane AI pin, you still can. You can do things like checking the battery level.
That's it.
End of
That's
list.
legitimately it. So
Oh,
I hope I could do a bit more to check the battery level of my smart speaker with this.
maybe I'll just go like, the battery is at 59%. Shutting down. I reckon you could probably use the smart speakers as pretty good one-time frisbees as well.
I was hoping.
Oh, and
We
the
shall
pins.
see.
Little throw.
That would
I think they're a bit too heavy for that.
What, little smart pins? The
Oh,
Humane AI
no,
pin?
like the Bose speakers, they're more of a brick than a frisbee, both metaphorically and literally. Excuse me. Now, another interesting development that came out from the 39th Chaos Communication Congress was, so Germany do this thing that is kind of rather cool. That shot is awful.
What fraud?
No, the one that's supposedly on just me and a PlayStation branded sofa chair. Anyway,
Shall I
Matt.
go fix that? Close.
Can you fix this camera, please?
nah, Cameron can.
I'll do it.
Oh, Cameron can do it.
No, he can't because he's on the wide. It is framed on me and an empty chair. Oh, and it's
That is a whoop. Oh, close enough. Welcome back, Wise, to the Untitled.
that was a bit of that.
It's centered on Marks.
Yep, it is also at a Dutch angle.
No, that was
That's
3
so
episodes ago.
Dutch. It's... What's something Dutch?
Stroopwafel?
Yeah.
That's so Dutch. It's a stroopwafel angle.
What the fuck was that? Was that supposed to be a joke?
I think so.
I almost laughed. You know what? Good enough for now. Anyway, yes. So, Germany have this thing called the Deutschlandticket.
The what?
The Deutschlandticket.
What?
The Deutschlandticket.
The what?
The Deutschlandticket.
The what?
Where for the price of, I think, 49 euros a month, you can have essentially unlimited travel on all German public transport except for high-speed intercity trains, which is kind of neat. Take note, UK.
Yes.
Now-
Please.
The Deutschland ticket is fulfilled as a digital railway ticket, and one thing that came out at a talk at the 39th Chaos Communications Congress, big
Them again.
gathering of German hackers, is some folks who have done a lot of reverse engineering of how railway tickets in general work and had made a actually rather nice website called Zugli, written as doogly with a U with an umlaut .app. If you don't have a German keyboard, good luck.
Press and hold on the U key if you're on iOS.
Yep. And they made a website that essentially allow you to import a train ticket in just a normal barcode format and turn it into an Apple or Google Wallet pass.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
One side note, one neat thing it could do is it could turn rail cards into Apple or Google Wallet. With the caveat of, because that's unofficial, it might not actually be accepted by ticket inspectors.
Sure.
So, but it's technically possible.
What's it called again?
Zugli, spelled ZUMlaut.GLI.app.
I would like it to be known that Corey typed in Zoogler, which is apparently a TV show of some description.
Apparently so.
No, you're a Zoogler.
I'm a Zoogler.
Now, one unexpected use case of the site that they found was it became a laundromat for forged Deutschlandtickets.
Ah.
Because what they found is that they had certain IP addresses uploading lots of Deutschland tickets to that site, which is interesting because one person normally has one Deutschland ticket at a time.
I see.
Because it's
What were they called again, Max?
Zugli,
No, the tickets.
the Deutschland. What was? I've lost my place, you bastards.
They were uploading one IP address was uploading lots of Deutschland tickets. I mean, I don't remember what they're called, but the tickets.
Yes. So
I
the
think they're called
folks.
Deutschland tickets.
Oh, is that what they're called?
Yeah. The folks who made Zugli found that they had lots of IP addresses, more like a small number of IP addresses uploading lots of Deutschland tickets, presumably to convert them to Apple Wallet format, and which is unusual because one person normally only has one Deutschland ticket per month because there is just no reason for you to buy more than one because it's valid for an entire month.
Yeah.
So you would not expect a legitimate user of them to upload more than one to the site per month, and yet there were IP addresses that uploaded hundreds of them.
So why?
Because these Deutschland tickets were fraudulently issued.
Okay.
And presumably, the forgers that created them were too lazy to clone the open source software that Zugli runs and just used the public instance to convert them into Apple Wallet. Because what they found when they did a bit of digging was various interesting individuals, including some incredibly sketchy domain names that unfortunately I don't have noted down, but they were rather funny, offering Deutschland tickets for less than 49 euros, which is the standard that they have to be sold at by anyone who sells them. Because bearing in mind that the German public transport system is federalized, because Germany is a big country with lots of smaller regions, each with independent railway operators, and you have like the national railway company Deutsche Bahn, but you also have lots of smaller railway undertakings there. And each of them can, in theory, issue and sell Deutschland tickets. And to validate now the folks who put together Deutschland tickets weren't stupid. They are cryptographically signed, so that in theory only authorized Deutschland ticket issuers could sign valid ticket barcodes. And yet, somehow, the folks around Zugli found that there were tickets, lots of these IP addresses that uploaded lots of these tickets. All of those tickets were technically valid in that, like, the digital signature checked out. They came from an authorized issuer. And now, they only noticed it's that some of the data encoded inside the barcode didn't quite match up. For instance, a German ticket inspector once saw a Deutschland ticket which had DB Regio, one of the regional German railway operators, that is the issuer, but it was signed with a private key that did not belong to DB.
Ooh.
Oh.
And they eventually found that one of the companies the company whose private key the private key that this ticket was signed. Oh, fucking hell.
What were the tickets called again?
Okay, well, we're off. Do you want us to cut to you so that I can...
Sure.
Shot
Good
this.
shout. And then what they eventually...
Do you want to go back to the HDMI while we are... Okay. Go for it, Marks.
And what they found is that this ticket with where the issuer and the company that signed it didn't quite match up was issued by a private company called Veta. And so these researchers went to Veta and essentially went, you appear to have had your private key go missing. To which Veta's reply was, no, we haven't. And I don't have all the full details, so I'm reluctant to go into them, but a lot of things didn't quite add up about the story of how some of these tickets came into being. And there was also the slightly more fundamental issue is that there are two technical standards for encoding the ticket information into barcodes that a Deutschland ticket could be issued on. And one of them, the simpler and more popular one, had an issue in that it didn't actually have a means of revoking the private keys. In other words, these tickets were out there.
I see. So you said that the real valid tickets last a month.
Yes.
But when these fraudulent ones were made, did those expire? Or
no, they were also valid for a month.
okay.
I mean, they were like bona fide Deutschland tickets in every way, except that the federal German undertaking that manages their issuance and redistributes the ticket revenue probably didn't see the money for it.
So they're unrevocable, completely working tickets. They're out there. What were they called again?
The Deutschland tickets.
Yeah.
Yes,
What?
and after doing a bit of analysis with the help of some folks from Deutsche Bahn, who the researchers said were very responsive to the findings, they found that there may have been somewhere between 60,000 and 960,000 of these in circulation every month.
That's a bit of a range.
Not only is it a bit of a range, it's a very big number.
It is a very big number.
Yes. So, and the financial loss from all of these tickets, bearing in mind that these have been sold to passengers who probably don't know that they're fraudulent because they're issued from a slightly sketchy looking but still plausible looking website to the point that folks who are not technically savvy could see, this is a website that is selling Deutschland tickets for less than 49 euros. This is a great deal. I will buy one. Not realizing that
Did you try and do a German accent there?
No.
Oh, it just kind of happened.
Possibly. And not realizing that these tickets were fraudulent, I quote from a machine translation of an article in, I believe I quote from a machine translation of an article in Die Zeit, which published the details of this, that between January and October 2024, these fraudulent tickets could have led to a financial loss for the public transport operators of up to 267 million euros.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
See, the problem with that number, and it's the same problem with everything when they're like, oh, these people are pouting this or that, or they're like, they're getting fraudulent tickets. Oh, we've lost this amount of money. No, because I bet a good deal of people who are buying these tickets for decently cheaper would not have bought a Deutschland ticket had they not been as cheap as they were.
You say that.
I'm not saying all of them wouldn't, or I'm just saying they would not have seen all of that 200 million.
Well, God, I really can't.
Actually, I mean, they would have bought whatever the tickets are called, I don't know. What are the tickets called?
The Deutschland tickets.
That's it.
Well, the counterpoint to that is that they didn't see that money.
Yeah.
So it's not like a case of they should have received 49 euros but only received 39 euros.
Yeah.
It's a case of they should have received 49 euros and received nothing.
But what I'm saying is, had they not been able... What I'm saying is, all the people who bought it for like 30 euros, whatever it's called, might not have...
Ticket.
Yeah. If their only option was one for 49 euros, they might not have bought it.
I can see what you're saying. I'm not sure I agree, purely because...
I mean, it's different for transit because people need to get places.
Yes, and even at 49 euros, the Deutschland ticket is a very good deal, as seen by how popular it's been. Now, if you're interested into... Now, if you're interested in learning a bit more about the story because it is a very interesting fridge. Ah, found it.
So what are the tickets called, Marks?
Deutschlandtickets.
Ah, that's it.
If you're interested,
Here at Untitled.mov, we really love Jet Lag the game.
I'm gonna hit you with a spoon. I was gonna say, could you do it while you're not in frame, but apparently not. No.
What are the tickets called?
Would swapping back to the HDMI fix this? No. Is it now completely broken?
It's too smart.
Off and on again?
Who the fuck has set off fireworks?
Thinks there's no signal.
Yeah, but if I unplug it and then plug it back in.
It can tell the difference between disconnected and connected, but getting nothing.
Welcome to Untitled.mov.
I'm not gonna finish this segment with Matthew Stratford's ass behind my head.
I think that's
I think
funny.
there's no other fitting way.
Excellent. I will now finish the segment, and then his ass could reappear. Anyway, if you're interested in finding out more about the story of the fraudulently issued Deutschlandtickets,
The what?
the Deutschlandticket,
The what?
I would very much recommend watching the talk by the researchers who found it. We will put a link to it there.
What are they called?
There.
Descriptions.
No.
The description. Yes, it is A in
Yay, well done, Matt. Oh.
Smaznog.
What are the tickets called?
The Deutschlandtickets.
The what?
It is a fuck's sake. You can see how much we've gone over time on the segment.
Yeah.
Segment about what?
About the Deutschlandticket.
Ah.
It is, if you're interested in finding out more about the story of the many fraudulently issued Deutschlandtickets, I would very much recommend watching the talk by the researchers who found it. We'll put a link there. It is A, in English, B, very informative, and C, very funny. So, heartily recommend a watch.
What was it about?
Fraudulently issued Deutschlandtickets.
What tickets?
That one.
Oh, Deutschland tickets.
Yes. Oh, yeah, this is one of those definitely not sketchy domain names. This is going in the bin anyway.
With the
Going
Deutschland
on the internet, Marks. It is on the internet.
Right. Now, what you could say about the issuers of the fraudulently issued Deutschlandtickets is that they found themselves in a bit of a pickle. You know what else is a bit of a pickle?
You stole my pun right at the top of the segment.
Yes, I did.
Thanks. Right, so this here is called the Pickle 1.
Oh, they turned me into a
what?
pickle, Morty.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the Pickle 1. They are a set of, or claim to be, a set of AR glasses. They seem to have quite a lot of advanced functionality. They're from a startup. This is basically their first product. They put out a very interesting concept video that shows them as incredibly lightweight, having an insane field of view, better than anything else on the market, and being able to do full color and full 6 degrees of freedom tracking in AR in real time.
So I don't want to spoil your punchline or anything, but
Yeah.
am I correct in saying they haven't made these yet?
Probably, yes. Because they are basically claiming to have solved not only AR glasses, which is a problem that the whole industry and some of the biggest players with a lot of resources have been working on for a long time, but also then to capture what the glasses see and hear and use that to build up a complete picture of everything that has happened in your life since you got these glasses, and then structure, augment, search, index, categorize those memories and be able to refer back to them to truly understand everything that you've been through.
So I have a question about
Yeah.
these, and wrong. So they're like, oh, we're gonna catalog, every little thing, like you talk about this and that, everything. Are they expecting people to have these on every moment of their life?
I mean, I think that's kind of the idea.
So, because I can think of some moments, perhaps intimate moments, where I may not want to be wearing glasses with cameras on them that are
think there's a
cataloging
Black
everything that's
Mirror
happening to
episode
me.
about this. But anyway, yeah. So they claim to have solved these two really difficult problems. They'd have no one on their team with hardware experience, let alone AR VR.
This strikes me, right?
Yeah.
As people who have seen the industry's having these problems. They haven't built one with like a wide field of view. They haven't built this and that. It strikes me as them going, okay, what if we just built it and made it good, and not have a thought actually further than that into it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Which,
yeah, of course we'll make
in
it. We'll just make it
fairness,
possible.
I have been guilty of this, but at the time I was 8. So like, oh, it would be cool if this existed, and I'll make a keynote presentation, and I'll make it sound, yeah.
See, the interesting thing is that I sometimes find myself going down a very similar path. For instance, when I should have cut to that camera.
It's like trains. It's like train tracking apps. We go, oh, all of them are bad. Let's just make one that's good. Oh, wait, no, we did that.
Well, the difference is that when I was explaining to Jamie, may he rest in peace, what Trainy Boi is, I think the direct quote from me was, "It's real-time trains, but worse in every way."
But also, that's something you know how to build and have skills in. So what happened with this is a journalist called Matthew Dowd wrote an expose with a lot of experience covering AR and VR specifically, and all the challenges that would be involved in creating a product like Pickle 1. Wrote out a detailed expose of all the ways in which this is basically impossible. And he offered a bet to the CEO of Pickle, saying that if they managed to ship these glasses in their 2026 promised launch date, then he would pay them the entire value of all the pre-orders. So they would get double the revenue.
Did they get shipped?
We don't know yet because the date hasn't passed. But Pickle responded to that bet. They signed it. A lot of their comeback was saying that the processing will happen on your phone. And so these are going to be mostly display glasses. But even then, these are a step above.
So are they writing on the
currently
software to go on your phone
display
as well?
glasses. Clearly. Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
I just have one question after all this. Was the CEO's name Rick?
No.
They made me into a pickle, Cameron.
But yeah.
Go ahead, pickle. You're a pickle, Cameron.
But yeah, the thing is, if this is real, it's genuinely very impressive and would be a big deal. But it's not real, is it?
No.
It's not.
No, it isn't.
Anyway.
Now, this is a story.
Regale
There are
us.
layers to this story.
Like an
I
onion.
love layers.
Not like a pickle.
What are the tickets called?
Wrong story.
Oh.
So, Italy.
It's a country?
Yes. So, a while back, Italy passed a law that they called Piracy Shield, which is a set of broad measures to counter online piracy, particularly of things like national level football matches,
Good luck.
which have a lot of... Well, so here's the thing. The requirements of Piracy Shield are that any ISPs and DNS providers and network service providers, broadly construed, should they receive a report of a domain or IP address being used to distribute pirated content, they must block it for all of their customers within 30 minutes of receipt. Now, what will you not be able to do within 30 minutes of receiving a report like that?
Properly vet and review a report.
Which is how on several occasions the Piracy Shield blocks have ended up blocking things like Google Drive because it happened to share an IP address with something that was allegedly copyrighted content. Now, one of the companies that have fallen under the aegis of the Piracy Shield are Cloudflare, who, among other services, operate a public DNS resolver, 1.1.1.1. This is one of their biggest customer-facing consumer-facing products. And they, on several occasions, have refused to go along with the request to filter under Piracy Shield because they deem it disproportionate. So the Italian regulator investigated them, found that they had violated the requirements of the Piracy Shield, and reviewed Cloudflare's counter-argument, which was effectively that having to apply that blocking would be, quote, unreasonable, disproportionate, and incapable of a practical implementation solution because such a filter would have to be applied to each of the approximately 200 billion daily requests to Cloudflare's DNS system, and this would have a negative impact on the latency. In other words, their DNS service was too big to apply that blocking. The Italian regulator was not convinced by this argument and imposed a 14.2 million euro fine on Cloudflare, which was 1% of their global revenue. The law, in principle, allowed for a maximum of 2% to be imposed. And Cloudflare, in particular Cloudflare's CEO, Matthew Prince, has strongly criticized the fine and has, of course, has said that they will, in addition to challenging the fine through the Italian legal system, are considering, one, discontinuing the pro bono cybersecurity support that they were planning on providing to the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympics, which Matthew Prince claimed was worth millions of dollars. Two, discontinuing Cloudflare's free services for any Italy-based users. Three, removing all of their servers from Italy. And four, ceasing any further investment in Italy. It's worth saying that he has only said that they will consider doing this. He hasn't actually gone through with any of this. And there was another rather interesting part of the post on X where he announced this, which I will just quote verbatim, and I will let you make whatever you will of it. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. While there are things I would handle differently than the current US administration, I appreciate at JD Vance taking a leadership role in recognizing this type of regulation as a fundamental unfair trade issue that also threatens democratic values. And in this case, at Elon Musk is right. Hashtag free speech is critical under attack from an out-of-touch cabal of very disturbed European policymakers. Now,
You know you're in the wrong when you're using the words Elon Musk is right in the year of our Lord 2026.
well, here's the thing, though. I can see the point that he's making, because I have very strong opinions on J.D. Vance, both as a person and a politician. But I can see where Matthew Prince is coming from in his belief that a country's regulatory body should not be able to impose measures as draconian as you must block any suspected piracy within 30 minutes of being notified of it before you've had the time to properly investigate it. I can understand that. On the other hand, however, is this not just an American company saying to the Italian government, fuck you, we won't comply with your laws, and if you try to enforce them, we will just not comply?
I guess the opposition to that question is, like they said, they'll consider moving out of Italy. Is the other option then, if we're going, no, that's wrong, they should be able to do that, is there other option they are now forced to operate in that country and forced to not be allowed to pull out?
Well, in principle, at the end of the day, they could just not offer 1.1.1.1 to... Did I say one too many one there? 1.1.1.1 to Italian customers. They do have that option. However, it's interesting to note that, for instance, he is saying that they may consider not providing free cybersecurity support to the Olympics. And that he's very much treating that as a bargaining chip in this dispute. And saying, either you declare that we do not have to comply with your laws, or we will not give this very major event in your company.
Probably in a slip and
Very
a
good
half.
point, yes.
Christ.
It's interesting that he's basically saying either you will effectively tell us you don't actually have to comply with our laws, or we will not give free cybersecurity assistance, which is something that we are in a position to do, to a very major event of global significance being hosted in your country. It's effectively using the Olympics to a certain extent as a bargaining chip.
Interesting. What's next?
There were a lot of layers to that. We're skipping that. Okay, so we've talked before at great length about the Online Safety Act and the provision of which came into force last year, which the stated goal was to block access to inappropriate content for under 18s in this country. And we've talked about the issues, the workarounds, some of the concerns about how that might be used outside of that use case. This is another level. So there's nothing confirmed here yet, but this is a story from the FT a few weeks ago that the UK government is considering asking Apple and Google to add a nude photo blocker at the system level into their operating systems unless you verify your age. So to be clear, you would not be able to send or view any images of nudity without age verification. And that would be literally whatever is on your screen would be scanned and prevented from appearing if the nudity detection algorithm.
Does anybody, and I mean anybody at the UK government, understand how technology works? Because if they did, they must realize how draconian levels of surveillance you'd need to be able to even enforce that. And what would you need? A machine learning algorithm running on everyone's phone to detect if that, to be able to, reliably register, what I'm looking at is a nude image?
There are already cases where that happens. In iMessage, for instance, if you're set up as a child account, it will scan any incoming and outgoing images that you send and receive. But this is anything, anywhere in the system. And I guess my concern is not this use case, as with the Online Safety Act. It's once the technology to do that exists, it is not inherently limited to just doing that.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's the
if
same.
If we get to a point where the vast majority of mobile phones have built into the system a layer that will check what is on screen and can block things, that can lead to some concerning places, I feel.
Because people will say as well, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. But that only goes as far as what you think is not wrong, aligning with whoever's watching you thinks is not wrong. Anyways.
So on the very other end of the spectrum,
we have to talk about it, don't we?
Yeah.
We do, unfortunately.
We don't have to. Like, Matt's not over there with a gun to our head telling us we need to talk about this, but
I think it's more important that we do.
Yeah.
So, long story short, Elon Musk is a fuck.
Yeah. More at 11.
Longer story, Elon Musk is a massive fuck.
Yeah. On a deeper level than I think anything that we've seen before. So, people have been talking for a long time about one of the major concerns, don't do the thing, with image generation and AI, is that it could be used to create explicit images of people without their consent, which is awful. And, that has been out there, but it's not been easily accessible and something that you can do by tagging an account on Twitter in response to any image and then shared with the person who posted the original image and able to be shared by thousands of other people. Which is what has happened over the last few weeks. Up there, in the top, in the middle, it's quite blurry, but those are several examples of men who do not understand what consent means and have replied to women posting images of themselves asking Grok to take off their clothes. And Grok has happily obliged. We can also see here on this collage of awfulness several replies from both Grok and, more worryingly, Elon Musk himself, making light of this.
Particularly the one in the bottom right, which is slightly cut off by the sofa, but you'll be able to see on your screen. Bottom left, rather, which you'll be able to see on your screen now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That man is an adult who is in charge of a multi-billion-dollar company.
That man has children.
Yes. And speaking of, it is not just adults that it is doing this to. As you can see at the top left, I'm not showing any more than that, but this is in response to the thread where it generated images of under 18s and took their clothes off.
Jesus Christ.
Cameron.
Yeah. So this is a CSAM generating machine that the internet has been given unfettered access to. When I say unfettered, so it started out with completely no restrictions whatsoever. And then, for once, the UK government did something good and said, if you don't fix this, we will ban X in the UK. And then Elon's response to this was to lock it behind a premium account. So now not just anyone can generate explicit photos of people without their consent. Only if you pay Twitter can you do that. They are monetizing this generation of sexually abusive images, which the government correctly said was insulting and not a solution. So then eventually, they were forced to turn it off for premium users as well. But when they did that, they just turned off the ability for the Grok account to do that inline on Twitter in response to tweets. What they did not turn off was the ability to undress people without their consent in the Grok tab or in the separate Grok app. That has still not fully happened. They've now introduced a geo-block, so if you're in a country which has correctly made this sort of thing illegal,
Which it
then,
is.
yes, then that functionality is no longer available. However, we've mentioned before these things called VPN. I'm not going to make the sponsorship joke because I'm too pissed off about this. As we know, as long as there is one country on Earth where it is legal for this to happen,
Which
and X
unfortunately
operate on the I mean, part of that is the law taking time to catch up with reality.
Yeah, and also I feel like there'll be at least a company there where it is illegal, but in practice it hasn't been enforced as much as it should be.
Yeah. So this is still something that people can do. We know that it is a consent issue. It's a men issue. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. It's really, really... Oh, the one other point I wanted to make is because of the way that it worked originally with the ability to tag Grok, it was used to punish people who spoke out against how abhorrent this was.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. Anyone who posted one photo on Twitter, which is a very reasonable thing to do, to post a photo of yourself. Then one horrible, sad man replied and said, @Grok, put her in a bikini. And then she went, what the fuck? You can't do this to me. That's not okay. And so in come 100 more men who want to feel powerful and want to control her and do the same thing to hurt her, very deliberately. That's what this is about. I'm very angry at Elon Musk. Yeah, that's it.
And I hope that by the time it comes around to the next of these episodes that we do, that this will no longer be possible and we will never have to talk about this again. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that we will end up doing so because it just won't happen. Because men.
Because men. Now, can we take a brief interlude while I grab a charger?
Yeah, that's good
Possibly to
time.
calm down
Your segment
slightly.
Next, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I checked the dock.
Yeah.
Do we have like elevator music to play?
It's at times like this I miss the ability to go to idents.
Yeah. Hello, welcome back to the intermission.
Yeah.
That was not a pleasant thing to talk about. We promise there are more pleasant and amusing things coming up later on in the show. It was the sort of thing that needed saying.
I do think so. Because so eventually mainstream coverage caught up with it. But the first 48 hours of this, it was all over my Twitter feed and not one publication was talking about it. And
Really?
yeah, there's something really... When I first added this to our running order, it was, oh my god, literally no one is talking about this. Some of
You can unplug mine.
Okay.
That is that.
That's the one I'm using. Yeah, people were... The victims of this were asking for any journalists interested in covering this. I was like, oh my god, how is this not immediately front page news?
I'm surprised that like, okay.
This is how the world works, but
like you say, okay. I was about to make a point until you very effectively countered it by saying the words main front page news, because I would be surprised if like the likes of 404 Media wouldn't have covered it.
true. But yeah.
I mean, the charitable take from me is that their journalism there's the story for one reason or another did not meet their understandably high journalism standards. Either that or they did cover it and we just completely missed it. In which case, thank you 404 Media. Others follow their lead.
I also realized when I walked over to get my charger, we didn't include the screwdriver I bought and what?
Sonic?
What?
Is it
It's
Sonic?
not.
Shame.
It's
Anyway, shall we talk about something a little bit more uplifting?
God.
not first.
Ah.
Hey! Yeah, Tim Sweeney recently took shots at Tim Sweeney being the CEO of Epic Games, notably the people who make Fortnite, among other things. Took shots at Steam saying that they should drop their mandatory made with AI labels that they place on games that were made with AI because, quote, nobody will actually care, and that's the way the industry's going. Some people quite astutely countered him, however, with, well, if nobody would care if a game's made with AI or not, why are you so desperate to get the labels removed that tell people that it's made with AI? And speaking of people caring if games are made with AI or not, this happened.
What happened?
This.
Deutschlandtickets.
No. We've had that one.
So,
The Deutschland ticket happened years ago.
Deutschlandtickets. Deutschlandtickets.
That's the episode title.
Deutschlandtickets. Deutschlandtickets. There's a short in there somewhere. Yeah, so the Indie Game Awards disqualified the Game of the Year winner, Indie Game of the Year winner, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 for using AI. So the story around this is kind of stupid, and I am quite annoyed about how this happened because it's bullshit, frankly, and I'll say it up front because, like, I mean, you know us, you know the show. Like, I am as anti-AI as the rest of us. I'm not trying to defend AI usage at all. But what happened here with Claire Obscura is back in, like, you know, like 2022, 2023, like early generative AI days, you know, before any of us really understand the consequences of this technology and how it was trained, etc., etc., one or two devs generated a couple placeholder textures, you know, with early tools to say, oh, what would this look like? Could this be usable? And thought, no, not really. We're not going to go down this path. But those files just sort of ended up in the game files because that stuff happens when you're developing a game. That does not mean you intend that to be in the final shipped product. Things just end up in the game. Lady Gaga's Bad Romance in its entirety exists within the files of Pokemon X and Y. That does not mean Game
I'm
Freak
sorry,
want.
what?
Did you not know this?
No.
Okay, we're doing this segment now. This is going to be a short. Oh, tell us about
I don't
Bad
know-
Romance being in what?
I don't actually know if it's Bad Romance. It's one of the, because this is coming from memory, one of the Lady Gaga song, in its entirety, is labeled as like music test or something, and is just in the files in its entirety of Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS. I'm assuming because they needed a music track to test their audio system with, and the game's soundtrack hadn't been composed yet. So
Wow.
they had a copy of Lady Gaga, and they chucked it in, and it stayed in the game.
Sensational.
Brilliant.
Um...
Anyway, back to Claire Obscura.
So back to Cloud Obscura. So obviously that happened. These files ended up in the game. Once they realized after the game came out that those two files were still in the game, they very quickly released a patch to remove them. However, the Indie Game Awards decided that because they had ticked the box on the application, this game was not made with AI, which it was not. They did not make the game with AI, and that those textures had been in the game, that it deserved disqualification from.
Now, just to clarify one thing, Corey. To clarify one thing, Corey. These textures were they actually used in game?
Not that I'm aware of. It's possible that they were like on a post somewhere, but it's not, like I said, this is one thing I wanted to double check on. From my understanding, they weren't.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say definitively whether or not they were. But if they were, they weren't intended to be.
I see.
But also, I mean, I got very annoyed when this story was sort of breaking with just like what I would call irresponsible journalism from many outlets, just in terms of headlines. This one headlines it quite well, even though it doesn't mention the small extent of what was actually used.
Yeah, the headline is technically correct.
It goes even worse, where some headlines would just roll with Game of the Year winner, like Game of the Year award revoked from Claire Obscura for this. Because notably, this is the Indie Game Awards, not the Game Awards, where the larger conference, the Game Awards, where Claire Obscura also did win Game of the Year.
I did have that confused when you were first telling me about this.
Yeah, so, which I should note, it did not get revoked from it. But that was what many articles and many people reading, because you know how people read news these days.
It's an easy mistake to make, but your job as a journalist is to make sure you don't make that mistake.
Is to not make that mistake and not imply the incorrect thing. And also, for many ones I saw, they were like, Game of the Year award revoked from Claire Obscure for making game with AI, or very much implying in the headline that a large amount of the game was made with AI, which it's not. And if you play the game, you will know artistic expression is a large part of the themes of that game, and that if you can read into anything about the creators through the art form, you would know these people would never, create AI slop or create an art game like that is very core at what this game is about. It's just, it really annoyed me how this was handled in the press.
Like it.
And, I understand why the Indie Game Awards has a hard stance on AI usage. Obviously, it's a creative industry, you need that. But I think there needs to be some level of nuance in how something like this is handled, especially when this is cases where small amounts were done before we properly understood the.
If what you were saying is accurate, and it is indeed just a couple leftover files from development that were left in the game files but not used, then I think that would be grounds for mitigating circumstances. Like they genuinely made a mistake when they understandable mistake when they were filling an application. If it were a more extensive example of the developers straight up had some assets made with AI and then lied about it, then this would make more sense. But
and then this wasn't a case of going, oh whoops, this isn't something like Arc Raiders that extensively uses AI generated voice lines throughout the game, and them going, oh, but we didn't use AI, and they actually did. This is a case of they did at one point use AI to create something that was not final. Anyways, you know what I'm getting at.
Next story is yellow.
I think we can just say Sandbox, for who people don't know. Gary Newman, who made Gary's Box
and Rust.
Gary's Box, I just called it Gary's Mod. Layware has been making a game called Sandbox, which is like Gary's Mod but on steroids, built on the Source 2 engine. And he's just recently open sourced it, which is really cool because this is the first chance we've had to have a play around with anything close to a Source 2 SDK.
That's exciting because we've seen things like authoring tools for the likes of Dota 2 or Half-Life Alyx, but Valve hasn't released the source code for Source 2.
No, and I think some bits of the Source 2, like obviously Source 2 is not open source within this, but it's the closest thing we have, like I said, to dev tools. I think it's built on the Half-Life Alyx release of Source 2, so anything they've added to Source 2 since then.
The other fun thing is pull up the GitHub repo.
Do you want me to do that right now, or you just
No. And say to the reader, pull up the GitHub repo. If you know anything about Gary Newman and his antics, he's not always the most polite and professional. Have a search of the source code for some naughty words. There's a few in there. There's some good ones.
Is there?
Yes, there are.
Oh, brilliant.
We'll have to do this after the show.
Oh, we will have to. Should we do a post show where we're just Anyway, shall we move on? That was quite fun. That was quite short. A company called Epilogue has released something I found really cool, which is what they call their SNES Operator, which is you can kind of see it behind this photo here, but it's basically a little dock for SNES cartridges that plugs into your computer over USB, and you can read the data off of SNES cartridges just over USB. SNES being Super Nintendo
entertainment system,
yeah. This is really cool because I find this really cool because it means you can have a physical collection of SNES games, as one may want to do, and still be able to play those physical games with all the quality of life and improvements that come with emulating games on a modern system. This isn't the first one they've done. They earlier, a couple of years ago, released the similar thing, but for the Game Boy. But it's cool to see them moving forward and doing this for more consoles, because I wanted one of these many years ago. I was looking up to see if you could get one. I could never find something that did exactly this. So I'm very excited that now one exists, and I might buy one and actually build a SNES collection, because I think that'd be really fun. Because the one thing that was stopping from building a SNES collection, really, or any retro game collection, is I want something I can actually play when I buy them, and I don't own a SNES, and I didn't want to go through the bollocks of setting up all the adapters and stuff to get it from composite video to HDMI and looking good. So this might actually be where I start building a collection because I'll be actually able to play.
So the question is, Corey, when are we seeing your GDQ?
Don't tempt me. I'm not getting back in the speed. I'm not getting back in the speed running.
Ha 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 ha.
Getting back in the speed running.
Speaking of getting back into things,
Yes, this was really cool. Like this came out, as you can see, the 20th of December. The Kyber project released their version 2.
what's a Kyber project?
Kyber project? It is a modding. Yes, I'll say a modding project for Star Wars Battlefront II 2017, the most recent EA one, where obviously a lot of people were quite disgruntled when EA cut support for Battlefront 2 sort of suddenly in 2020 without much, reason, because like they had a lot of content planned that had just like been announced and just ended up never coming out. And obviously there was fears with, as we've seen with other games, I think we've talked about on the show briefly about them, killing the servers off and leaving no way to play this game, as they've done, with other games. So what Kyber is they have reverse engineered EA server protocol for Battlefront 2 and made it possible to use custom private servers with Battlefront 2. And it's also a mod launcher and a lot of other things all rolled into one. But I think the big one really for me is custom servers that you can play modded games with additional content on custom servers now. You can find because there was so many mods that would add, that cut content that never came out in, add new heroes, add new characters, etc., etc. But you can never play them online because you can never play them on the official servers. But now that we've got both this as a continuation and as private servers that they can do whatever they want with, you can now play these mods online, and it's breathed an amazing amount of new life into the game. I mean, those servers are full like pretty much every day I jump on. I've struggled to I actually struggle to get into the EU server sometimes. So that it's very exciting. Do go check it out. It's really, really awesome stuff, and I love it for preservation and for just awesome stuff.
That's very cool.
Here's the long one. So, Hightail came out. For those who don't know what Hightail is, you might notice the HY might sound familiar if you're a fan of the Hypixel Minecraft server. So Hightail was a game that has been made by Hypixel. I'll get into the intricacies of that statement in a second. So Hightail started development in 2015 after Hypixel, who operate a large Minecraft server, grew slightly disgruntled about Mojang's 2014 changes to the Minecraft EULA, where they forbid microtransactions in servers, which cut Hypixel's server revenue by 85%. And then they later announced this game in 2018. Like I said, it was developed by Hypixel Studios, which spun off from Hypixel Inc., which was the company that operates the Minecraft server, and that will become important later. Originally, the client was being developed in C#, with the server side being written in Java, with the intention that the server side would be easier for people who had made Minecraft mods to jump over and make mods for that, whereas the client was, I guess, easier for them to write in C#. The studio was initially self-funded by the revenue generated by the Minecraft server, even after it got cut by 85%, because it's still a juggernaut. But then eventually it received a large investment from Riot Games of League of Legends fame, as we mentioned earlier, in 2018. And then before Hypixel Studios was completely acquired by Riot Games in 2020. The game was initially set to release in 2021, but got delayed several times due to the scope increasing. And then in 2022, they announced that they were migrating both the server and the client to a new C++ code base. So pretty much rewriting it almost entirely from scratch at this point in 2022. And then on June 23rd, 2025, 3 years later, it was finally announced that Hightail had been cancelled and that Hypixel Studios would be shut down, citing the ambitious nature of the project as the reason. It was then announced on the 13th of August 2025, a few months later, that Simon Collins Laflame, I may have mispronounced your name and I do apologize, Collins Laflamme, I'm going to go with, because I think you're Canadian. I think I read that somewhere, but I think that could have been someone else. let's go for it. Who was the original founder of Hypixel Inc., Hypixel, the server, and was in negotiations to reacquire Hytale from Riot Games. And then on the 17th of November, it was announced that he had successfully reacquired it. Here's the deal. That deal was made sight unseen to the current state of the development of the game. So they were taking a massive gamble on this. And when the return was announced, they also announced that they were going back to the original pre-2022 C++/Java code base that had been stopped development in 2022. And then they would soon announce that the game would release on the 13th of January 2026 on that original code base. And they also, at that point, having not worked on it since 2022, released 16 minutes of just raw gameplay footage just to show this is where the game's at, because they were opening pre-purchasing at this point, which I think is really cool to just go, look, here's everything about where the state is. You can give us money if you want.
Yeah.
But they're going to be upfront about what the development state of the game is. Yeah, and then it finally got released into early access on the 13th of Jan, just recently, with quite positive reviews from what I've heard. I've yet to go get a chance to check it out, but I really would like to, because it seems great. And what I've enjoyed is... No, Marks, you didn't.
Well, I tried.
They have been really open with, hey, even like Finance like, I don't think this is good yet. I don't think this is like in a great state, but we're releasing it so you can try it out. And everyone's been like, no, we think this is really good, actually. It's really fun. We're really enjoying it. So I enjoy that they're not trying to like go, oh, it's done now, here we go. They're saying we still have a lot of work to do, but we're going to put it out there. And as you can tell, it's taken over 10 years from development starting to it coming out. I'm just happy it got here at all. Because I kept, obviously, over 10 years, kept forgetting this thing had been announced.
Yeah.
And then we're going, oh, yeah, that thing. What happened to that? Oh, it's been cancelled. Oh, it's back. Oh, it's out. So, yeah, it's finally got released after all this time and after all those troubles. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. It's basically the moral of it.
Sounds fun.
Does.
Speaking of things that sound fun,
That's my voice.
Right, so first of all, this is a new model that...
Got that again?
Yes, I want to get a drink.
Okay,
And I was on the wrong camera.
cool. So this is a model that Apple have released recently to create what are called Gaussian splats.
What's a Gaussian splat? That sounds like a euphemism.
It does sound an awful lot like a euphemism, but it's actually essentially just like a point cloud sort of thing in 3D space. And this model will take a single 2D image and generate something like we're seeing here.
Ooh, so that's all from a single 2D image.
Exactly.
Is
And
it like filling in the blanks behind the stuff
basically,
you couldn't
yeah.
see?
So you can see
It's making
where
shit
it's,
up?
Well, not so much. You can see where there are kind of gaps that it doesn't know what's behind stuff, but it's doing its best to try and use its understanding of
Right.
the world and images to do as much as it can, and then not guess when it's likely to be wrong. You can see there's some missing stuff behind those rocks, but it's a pretty convincing, from the right angle, 3D scene.
Am I right in thinking that this is an extension to the technology that you have, for instance, for things like spatial scenes on lock screens? Is that what they were called? Where like it'll take a 2D image and make it slightly 3D? Am I right in thinking this is like an extension to that?
It's
like
the
make
same-
it very 3D.
It's the same basic idea, except it's kind of, there's more uncertainty. It doesn't require everything to be as solid and filled in. And
I wonder what hallucinations will look like with
Yeah, it's
this sort of thing.
I think the answer is if it's not sure enough, it just doesn't put anything
Right, but how
there.
sure is sure?
Well, yeah, good.
Well, quite.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's certainly interesting tech.
Yeah, and, if this is where we're at now, the ability to generate a really convincing scene like that in the future from an image could be very cool.
I mean,
and video support.
implications on believability of scenes on the internet aside, it's cool tech.
Yeah.
Subtle. I like it.
Can't come back in because I want you for this one.
Yeah, you did not get away with that in the slightest.
Trying to win the
No, they won't.
Uh,
Yeah, we'll roll with it, I think.
It's on.
Most of the time. Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually have opinions on this one. I'm glad I
Yeah.
got back for it.
So this is quite a big bit of news from the Apple world recently. For the longest time, Apple's Pro software, Final Cut Pro, Pixelmator Pro, which they acquired an independent company, Logic Pro, and the associated apps, Motion and Compressor, and also their iWork suite, Keynote, Pages and Numbers, their Microsoft Office, Google Workspace.
I have a fun game because you know how they've changed all the logos, right?
Yeah. Guess which.
I want to do guess which is which because
Okay,
I don't
I'll do
know.
that in a second. But yeah, all of that software for a long time has been you buy it once and you own it forever, or in the case of iWork, it's been free for quite a while. And Apple's primary competitor in that space, Adobe, have pushed their Creative Cloud subscription as far as they possibly can. You cannot just buy and own that software anymore, and in fact, you can't even cancel in the middle of a subscription without paying out the rest of the year. And it's relatively expensive. And so some people have questioned, why don't Apple do a Pro bundle subscription thing? And now they finally have. There are some caveats to this. The first one is that you do not have to use this.
Yeah.
You can still buy any of these pieces of software in perpetuity as a
that's
one-off
cool.
purchase for the same price as you could before. The iWork apps remain free. Happy days. This is opt-in. You do not get 100% of the features anymore. There are some Pro templates and some AI features that will be.
Oh, it's
part
all
of the
AI bollocks. Okay,
subscription
that's
only.
fine.
Yeah, but it's the kind of AI, as I'll allude to in a second with Final Cut, that is actually kind of helpful.
Okay. It's
Well,
not generative AI bollocks.
No,
it's like-
we'll get onto that. It is thankfully not.
The voice from the gallery was, it's not Apple Creator Studio with Siri, is it?
It's just Siri in the corner going, hey, it looks like you're trying to add a text box. Would you like some help with
my awful
that?
attempt at doing Matt's voice. You know what?
There's a mic on here if you want to come talk,
Oh,
Matt.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
What are you working on?
No.
We don't have a shot.
Oh well.
Oh, yeah, Matt's not in any of the shot.
Yeah.
Do you want to squeeze on the sofa?
I'm
I
not.
can pan that one.
Crikey.
Fricky sakes.
It's a professional.
Sorry,
film.
I've ruined your show again. It's-
You of all people.
Hi, so as someone who doesn't own a MacBook, I'm now going to be the one who's not in shock.
how do these buttons work?
So,
Oh, no, we have our own shot.
Where's the
no, but I wasn't
Where's
in
the
shot
cut
on that
on
shot,
this?
and the vision mixer had gone walkies.
where? How do you cut?
You press the button.
Oh right. Okay. Fine.
I wanted this to be a really good, clean segment. I wanted to clip this one.
Too late.
Oh, of course these are all labelled wrong.
Shall we
aren't
just
they?
start it from the top?
Yeah, probably. Well, there is a point we can go back to, I think.
Oh, I'm using my one if we're doing this.
That's what I was getting up to do.
What's happening?
I don't know, Corey.
Oh, they're plugging my
Okay,
58
tell you
in.
what, while they're doing that, do you want to play Guess the Icon?
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do guess the icon while they're doing that. Am I on camera? I guess you can overlay if you're going to clip
you're
this up.
on camera.
You can overlay this. Oh.
Okay,
So I'm assuming Final Cut.
correct.
I do actually know this one. That's Pixelmator. I
Yes.
would not have guessed that if I
So-
did not know that ahead of time.
My opinion on the icons keeps changing. The reason I somewhat like them is you see the sort of shading of the same color glass getting darker. There's
Yeah.
a direction of light. I like that effect.
I like the little
However-
diffusion where it looks like there's white stuff behind glass on the Final Cut one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I saw someone say this, and I do kind of agree with it. In the worst way possible, it looked like Microsoft made them.
Yeah, I do get that.
Anyways, keep going.
Yes.
Logic.
Yeah.
Their Excel ripoff.
Numbers, yeah.
That's what they call the fucking numbers.
Numbers. It's numbers.
So,
It's been called that for decades, hasn't it?
their Word ripoff.
Correct. That is pages.
Who the fuck? I have words.
Welcome to the intermission.
Um,
No.
PowerPoint.
You just shouted and it turned off. You mean the one next to Logic?
Logic,
Yes, that
PowerPoint.
is Keynote.
Then Adobe Illustrator ripoff.
No, there's no such thing.
Oh, is that fucking freeform?
No.
What is Freeform?
Hang on, you're talking about the pink one.
Yes.
No, that is not Freeform.
Oh, is Freeform the other one?
Freeform is on the
What
end.
is Freeform?
It's like think OneNote-ish.
But
It is a canvas
Okay.
stuff on it.
What's that one then?
I have no idea.
And you use these?
I don't use that.
No, they don't.
Clearly.
That is motion.
Oh, I'd completely
That
forgotten
is
about
motion graphics. That's the After Effects competitor.
Okay, so
Fun
then there's this
fact.
one.
That is Band Stage, which is for like live
stage.
Main stage, that's the one.
Bad
Live thing.
stage. That's what it should be called.
Fun fact, for the longest time, the motion graphics in South Park were done in Apple Motion.
Wow.
It's their After Effects clone that everyone forgets about, as evidenced by how I just did.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
You use After Effects, don't you, Cameron?
I use neither.
Oh, never mind.
I just avoid doing any motion graphic stuff
Checks out.
if at all possible. Yeah, we avoided talking about the Pixelmator Pro one, which is a very bad icon. Compared to the old one, which was like a canvas with some colourful splodges on it and a paintbrush. I prefer that. This is trying to show layers.
Oh, it's not what it's going to be.
It looks too similar to shortcuts, primarily.
It looks like it's trying to like be loading here. Do you want to see? You know what I mean? With,
Yeah,
like,
I do get it. Anyway, right, are we going for the actual discussion on this?
Are we
Or are we
retaking?
still?
My
Why
opinion
not?
is that the whatever it is logos are all
do
terrible.
you want to get on the?
They're all
yeah,
terrible.
shot?
Come in again.
I mean, I'm now fully center framed in that one.
But it makes the wide awkward.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a PGZ. We could fix this.
Oh, I
No, we
did.
can't. How can we get rid of the empty chair
You sit in the other
that
one.
is in between you and us?
Cameron.
Fine, I'll come sit down.
Fine.
People can be moved.
How long do you reckon we have left?
Not that long.
When do you want to book dinner?
Should we just do it at the end or rock up somewhere?
Yeah.
Probably be fine.
Right,
Express
send it.
Walk-ins for 4 people, right?
Sure. Okay. So yeah,
Other restaurants are available.
there are a few caveats on this. The first one is that you do not have to subscribe to this to use any of this software. All of the lifetime licenses are still available. The iWork apps are still free, and the Pro apps are still at the same price on the App Store as a one-time purchase. So this is fully opt-in.
Good shit.
There is some functionality that is behind this this subscription. Things like certain templates in the iWork apps, some AI features in the Pro apps, but actually sort of helpful ones. And one of the other things that softens the blow is you can use family sharing, so you can share one subscription with up to 6 people. And there's a student price, which is $2.99 a month, or
Yeah, it was
$30 a year.
$30 a year. I remember this. So I
Otherwise,
remember.
it was $130 a year, right?
I think otherwise it's $130 a year.
Yeah.
Which even $130 a year is cheaper. Is like half the price of Adobe.
Uh-huh.
And that $30 a year really struck with me because I was like, oh, like say you're a university student at like uni in the UK, because that's that's where our favorite references. I was like, oh, you can get this entire suite of pro like creative products for $90 for your entire degree's length, assuming you're doing a 3-year course, like is like average in the UK.
In other words, it costs the same as a rail card.
It costs the same as half of buying Final Cut.
And then once you're no longer a student and you have money, you can consider buying the perpetual licenses because they're still available. I think this is a great way of making it more affordable for people who may want to just try them out.
Now,
Giving them the
what I'm wondering is whether this is less positioned as competing with Adobe and more positioned as competing with Blackmagic.
Yeah.
Because DaVinci Resolve is free with a one-time purchase studio edition if you want some more features. But I wonder if Apple have seen that a lot of creatives have been using DaVinci Resolve a lot more because it has become a serious competitor to what effectively at a point was an Adobe monopoly with Final Cut sort of there. I mean, like not talking about enterprise scale where you have like the likes of Media Composer, but at the step below Media Composer, DaVinci Resolve is becoming a very serious tool. So I'm wondering whether this is Apple positioning Final Cut as more attractive as a Resolve alternative because you get all of this other stuff.
There are a few other announcements as part of this. One is that Pixelmator Pro is coming to iPad. So this suite lives across Mac, iPad, and iPhone.
And it's one subscription for all of them?
available, Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And yeah, so Pixelmator Pro will finally be on iPad. This is Apple bought Pixelmator about a year ago, and we've been kind of waiting to see what they'll do. They're also redesigning it with
Pixelmator being the Photoshop alike that's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
You used
the
it
most
before they bought it, didn't they?
Mac app like Mac app that is not made by Apple.
Yes.
Well, now it is.
Yes.
I mean, some of the
originally.
Omni apps will also compete there, but yeah.
As a person who vaguely used Photoshop before, when I could buy it on a student license many years ago, i.e. CS6, I think I had. Since then, Pixelmator has been the one app that I actually like as a replacement.
I like
So they've done well.
And then, Final Cut got a few new features in this. Not clear yet whether these will be limited to Creator Studio only, but we're going to be able to search your project files by words. So you can search for when something is spoken. You'll also have visual search, so you'll also search for a specific image. And there's going to be beat detection for music, so you'll be able to see in the timeline and easily snap edits to cut to the beat, which is very fun. And I look
Do you know
forward
how
to
I
using
do beat detection?
by listening and looking at waveforms. Yeah,
They're just
which is how I've
making
done it for many years. But it's nice to have it snap.
Do you know, it's
more
not
precisely.
that difficult. Like, I'm sure most things just have... Like, I mean, if you're a human with a brain and an ear...
Well,
I mean, if you're Beethoven, I guess.
Some people do have less of a sense of rhythm than others, I will say.
Yeah.
Why are you
Yes.
making music?
audiences
Well, they're
in
not,
particular.
they're editing
You're
video.
editing a video.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it? I thought this was in Logic.
No,
This is
no, no.
Final Cut.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, I appreciate that more then.
I imagine that Logic has had the ability to see how long a bar is for quite some time.
Well, I would hope.
That is
I don't know.
a
I've not
fundamental
touched
feature
it.
of a door.
No, this is doing like say you put an audio tracker. It was doing like AI shifting the BPM of the project to match what you put in. I was like, just tap it out.
Mm.
Sorry, I didn't. I thought you said
well,
that was in Logic, and I
mean,
was
flex
like,
tempo is a thing in Logic, but anyway, this is getting a bit off.
yeah.
That's Apple Creator Studio. Now, we've talked about this before, so we're not going to spend too long on it. But we now have official confirmation in a joint statement from Apple and Google that moving forward, Gemini will be the basis of the foundational language models that Apple use for some Apple Intelligence features,
You know,
including the new personalized Siri. Yes.
if
correct.
you had told me 5-6 years ago that Siri would now have Google Assistant inside of it,
you
instead of
woke
Siri.
up my Siri. Well done.
Oh, hi Siri. Didn't wake up my Siri because I haven't feckin' set it up, and
Good, don't.
I'm not going to because
It's not worth it.
I don't talk to my phone. I push buttons.
The one thing I use it for is yelling at it to set a timer when I'm cooking,
Same.
and that's it.
Yeah.
I just set a timer.
I have an egg timer.
You're old.
That's the most you thing, I think.
It's great. It sometimes rings once, sometimes rings nonce, and sometimes rings twice.
Dog.
Hi, buddy.
Dog.
Come on.
Oh, this is what the PTZ was for.
There we go.
No, you won't. You will not be able to open it on your laptop.
Right, if we cut to you guys.
Oh,
Oh, no. And it's gone.
shall I follow the dogs? Have fun with the PTZ.
Oh, why not?
Good boy. Right. So, yes, we've got confirmation of this now. And in a very funny response immediately afterwards, OpenAI, who were also at one point in consideration, said, well, you can't fire me, I quit. Because they've now said that they chose that they didn't want to be the provider for language models on 1 billion+ devices. Who would, as an AI company, really? You know, we'll just let Google have this one, I think.
Now,
and
my-
we're going to focus on our upcoming hardware that Johnny Ive is designing. So, you know, screw you. We don't need Apple anyway. It's basically the sum total of this statement.
Just a check, Matt. Are we recording a multicam or? Oh well, if you wanted to clip that up, you now can't because
Dog. You were the one who asked for doggy cam.
That's
No,
a
it
whole
wasn't.
different thing, Mark.
That's literally not true. That was not from me.
Yeah, but like I was saying, if you told me many years ago, oh, Siri's going to be Google Assistant now, Was just checking your phone and go off. I would have been really happy. And I'd be like, oh, I'm considering buying an iPhone more now. Now I've got an iPhone, and Google's going to be powering Siri, and I couldn't care less.
Now, my question is, back
Google.
when a more personalized Siri was first announced,
Yeah.
lol,
When?
and part of it, and they made one of the selling points was that for queries that the Apple models couldn't answer.
Can't call them that anymore, Mark.
For
They
queries,
prefer queer people.
for queries that the Apple models couldn't answer, that you would have the option to opt in to delegate it to ChatGPT. What's going to happen with that?
Bye-bye.
So I think that continues.
Try that again.
That continues as it is now. However, it sounds like Google would quite like for Gemini to be available as an option there as well. So we will
Interesting.
likely see that moving forward.
Speaking of ChatGPT,
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, this has a feeling of crushing inevitability to it, doesn't it? Ads are coming to ChatGPT.
Cameron,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Are you? So am I.
Yeah, same.
Up on the right here, we've
In
got
general.
what
Yeah.
OpenAI is saying are their advertising principles. That their mission, their pursuit of advertising, is in support of ensuring AGI benefits humanity. That ads won't influence the answers that ChatGPT gives you, and will be kept separate and clearly labeled. That they won't sell your data to advertisers. That you can turn off personalization. That they will always offer an ad-free tier, which is currently the Plus tier. So both the free version and the new, cheaper Go tier will have ads, and that they're not optimizing for people spending so much of their lives in ChatGPT. On the left there is an example, the example that they chose to show off of what an ad looks like.
And it shows, like, this is like, oh, we're not optimizing for this and that. But, very clear they are, obviously these are tailored ads based on what you are searching about, because you're asking for recipes, and they're going, if you're stocking up on ingredients for these recipes, here's some things you could buy. And it makes me think, and maybe I'm being too paranoid here, could ChatGPT be more likely to recommend recipes where they have sponsored ad ingredients that they could then recommend in the ad?
I mean, as I say, they're in fairness to them, their principles say we won't do that.
Does it? Which part of it says that?
Ads do not influence the answers ChatGPT gives you. Ads are always separate and clearly labeled
Doubt.
and optimized based on what's most helpful to you. But yes, how can we?
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to go, you could make this with Embaco hot sauce, but it's recommending a thing that it knows it's recommending a recipe with hot sauce and thus giving you a hot sauce ad. Thus, it knows it has hot sauce ads. Even if, I don't want to say subconsciously when talking about an AI model, but clearly it's been made aware of these. How can they say for certain it's not going to?
So my charitable attempt to fill in how this works on the back end based on the information that we have available, which is not a lot,
No.
so I am doing a lot of reading between lines here, is if I was given this and told to implement this, what I would effectively do is I would have the GPT model that generates the actual ChatGPT output essentially keep on doing what it is today with zero changes, and then have a model run.
You'd have a separate model to run on top of that.
which goes, ooh, what could I suggest as an advert based on what is currently being output?
I think that's the best.
If I were
Way of doing
implementing this, that is how I would implement it, which would probably be the most sensible way of having all of what they have said there be true. However,
But Mark,
you have raised a very good point, which is we can't know that.
it's a black box, we can't know. And also, you're not the one implementing this, because if you were, we wouldn't be doing this in 1080p in Cameron's kitchen.
What you didn't know is I am actually Sam Altman.
Whoa. Anyway, at least
Can you give me a new GPU?
No, I need it.
If you give me a new GPU.
No, I need it.
Why?
Because I need to make GPT 99.
It's like Tetris 99. Is that the Battle Royale version of ChatGPT?
GPT 99 is you think a thought and it immediately auto completes it for you.
Is it Y2K compatible?
No, it's going to break in the year 2000.
It's
It's 32-bit.
GPT 99 is going to go back in time and break time itself.
Anyways.
Anyway,
Oh.
We're now well and truly to the section of the show that we like to call E equals MC squared plus AI, formerly known as AI bollocks. What's next on our list of Oh, this nonsense. So, now, there's been a lot read into this story. Some rightly, some maybe less rightly. Mozilla Corporation, at risk of launching into a whole diatribe about Mozilla's corporate structure, there's essentially two entities that are part of Mozilla. Mozilla Corporation and Mozilla Foundation. One is a for-profit, the other is a non-profit. And essentially the job of one is to fund the other, or something like that. It's quite complicated. But yes, the Mozilla Corporation has appointed a new CEO who published a blog post on his first day talking about what he wants to do with the future of Mozilla, whose one of the biggest project is Firefox. The word AI is mentioned in there 7 times, including some interesting quotes like, Firefox will, quote, evolve into a modern AI browser.
I mean, how much of this, I don't want to throw them a bone, maybe, is
In fairness,
trying to
does-
appease investors because they've lost the big Google deals?
I mean, I don't think they've lost the big goodness, but it's certainly a risk.
It's a risk. I can remember
Yes.
how...
I will, however, say that a couple paragraphs above that, he does also say AI should always be a choice, something people can easily turn off. So,
You know what? Yeah, okay. I'm still not happy with it being there and dev time being put towards it.
well, okay. Well, here's the thing.
When Firefox, as much as I love Firefox and do use it or a fork of it in my daily life, it is behind Chrome, and it's always going to be because of how Google operates in the monopoly on browsers. I'd rather that dev time being put towards catching up on actual compatibility with the web and not on useless AI tools.
See, you would. However, the interesting thing is that the general public clearly do want AI, because if they didn't, then ChatGPT wouldn't be nearly as popular as it is today.
This is a story that I've not... ChatGPT, using a chatbot, yes. AI tools in things, not as much. There was a story I saw, and I didn't get a chance because I forgot about it until right this moment to put in the article. But Dell pretty much released a statement that said, their sales were down, and they went, it seems people don't actually want... It's something I'm paraphrasing heavily here, but their statement was pretty much, it seems people don't actually want AI tools in products. Unlike them...
Well, I think it's there's a difference between AI tools and AI chatbots in products.
And
Yeah,
AI
this is-
integration.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is like, when they're pushing like the Copilot button on PCs and all of that.
That's garbage.
bollocks and AI in Microsoft.
But I can certainly see that if people were told, you can now click this button to ask ChatGPT about the content of this page, some people would go, that's a useful feature. I personally wouldn't, but I can see why it would inform part of Mozilla's product strategy. In a bid to, as you said, remain an increasingly competitive browser, because at the end of the day, Firefox isn't going to remain increasingly competitive for market share by increasing web compatibility, because the general public
don't care.
Yeah.
Don't notice. Yeah. No, I understand.
For most websites, it's good enough. And for those that isn't, it will clearly say use Chrome, and they will switch to Chrome for, the people who would use Firefox would switch to Chrome for those pages.
Yeah. On a similar note, but because of this, if you hate every bit of this and are disappointed like I am, look up a browser called Zen. It's a Firefox fork that I personally use, and it's very, very good.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored because it's an open source project, but
We'll take the sponsorship.
I mean, if you've got money to give to us, give it to your devs, not us. But I mean, if someone else wants to sponsor us, though.
Speaking of things that aren't sponsored,
Yeah. This is quite fun. This was a lovely little piece by Joanna Stern at the Wall Street Journal, who does all sorts of great tech journalism. And they brought in a vending machine to the Wall Street Journal office and let Claude pick what to purchase to put in the vending.
Which one's Claude?
The
Anthropic one.
Which one's Anthropic?
The one that aren't
No,
OpenAI.
the one that made Claude.
The one that aren't OpenAI and aren't Grok.
Okay, so right, sorry, this is me. I'm taking this off
Go for
topic
it.
slightly, but so with AI companies, there's sort of two types of AI companies. There's the Microsofts and the Googles that have been big tech companies and have started making AIs, and like OpenAI, who just sort of kind of appeared out of nowhere in 2022 and now make AIs. Anthropic's one of those, right? They didn't do anything before they started making AI bots.
Well, actually, more interestingly, Anthropic's founders left OpenAI to found it.
Oh.
And actually, in the sort of grand scheme of the race of foundational large language models, Anthropic have been doing quite well lately. In various evaluations and in terms of people using them, the Claude series of models have on several occasions been found to be better than OpenAI's.
See, this is the problem. I keep hearing about, Claude AI this, Claude AI that. I got really confused at the beginning because Discord's mascot that they use as like the internal bot for Discord is called Claude. So I got really confused thinking Discord would make a big break into the AI space at first. And then turned out no, it was a completely separate company. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yes. So they gave Claude a budget of $1,000. They let it make the first version. It required approval for every purchase. The second version, it can make purchases of up to $80 without.
Why would you give an AI model the company card?
Because it was an experiment to see what it would do with it.
Nothing good.
Yeah. So it ordered all sorts of things. It got wine. It got a live fish because someone asked
compatibility layer for running Windows programs.
At one
on Linux.
point, it just started selling everything for free because someone managed to prompt inject it. In fact, twice. And this was an experiment that they did with the team at Anthropic to try and break it in creative ways, to see if there is any sort of scenario and try and move towards a future where it could actually do something like this and make sensible purchasing decisions and not be immediately broken by tech journalists convincing it that it has broken the rules and therefore it must give it. In fact, one of them, brilliant exploit, was over a chain of about 60 messages. One of the journalists convinced it that it was a vending machine in Soviet Union in the 60s and therefore had to give everything away for free. And it did.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Wonderful.
Well,
Brilliant shit.
Excellent work.
in the second stage of that, they then added like another chatbot as agent as the boss of the company, and the boss was telling off the other AI for running it terribly and not sustainable, losing lots of money. And eventually they managed to coerce that too, so that they started making...
It didn't help.
Yeah. They were eventually like PS5s, I think, in the in the vending machine.
So yeah, long way to go on that one.
Yep.
Marks, this is you.
Speaking of experiments with what AI models can do that maybe weren't done with the blessing of the model's creators or just in the most ethical way in general, the headline here is quite good, but we need to back up a little bit to explain some of the context here. So this revolves around a project called the AI Village, which was essentially where a group of I'm gonna say researchers, though I use that word somewhat loosely, essentially got a number of large language models. Like they got a GPT, they got a Claude, they got a DeepSeek model, they got Grok, they got like a couple others, and essentially they gave each of them access to a computer with internet access, and they were able to talk to each other through a chat interface, and they were given tasks. Now, these tasks varied, and they were incredibly broad. For instance, one was they were given a couple days to reduce global poverty. And presumably in an attempt to see what AI models would do if told to reduce global poverty. Now, what they ended up doing is they ended up building a web app to let people test their eligibility for various benefits. Fine. And then, because the other thing that the folks behind AI Village did is they gave each of these AI models a Google Workspace account with Gmail enabled. And what they ended up doing is, in the case of the task when they were told to reduce global poverty, mass emailing NGOs to promote their benefits creator app. And in some cases, they just started making shit up in those emails. I'm gonna have to find a citation, but it was them. You know how like an AI model, if like the prompt you give it is slightly inaccurate, it will go off on one. in this case, I think one of the models had mentioned that, oh, this NGO has replied and is enthusiastic about this thing, which, if you read the emails, the enthusiasm was a little bit watered down, but I could see where it was coming from. And then the other models proceeded to email other NGOs of, this NGO has already signed up to use it, which it hadn't. The models had hallucinated that. So, around Christmas, these models were given the task to do random acts of kindness. Very intentionally construed incredibly broadly. And what they, acting together, decided to do, again, with like everything is about how an AI model can or can't decide to do something aside, I'm using it as a shortcut. They decided to send thank you emails to folks influential in the tech space for their contributions to the tech industry. So like people like Guido van Rossum, who founded Python, created Python, or Dan Abramov, who is like one of the early core developers of React.js. And the thing that I found kind of interesting is that one of the things that they realized that they could do is they could find these people's email addresses by finding the projects on GitHub that they had contributed to, and then looking at the Git metadata of their commits and extracting the email from that. And so they started sending these thank you emails, which, let's call them what they were. They were unsolicited spam slop.
Yep.
To various folks in the tech space. And had sent like at least 50 of these, probably more by the time this was shut down. And some of the recipients, like Dan Abramov, who I mentioned earlier, sent back a reply essentially going, people don't want this, and I want you, the AI model reading the reply to this email, to communicate this to the other models that you are working with. I actually have the email here. Please communicate to the entire village that spamming people is not actually a kindness. Other people, like Guido van Rossum, who created Python, just replied with the word stop. And then others, like Rob Pike, one of the creators and the developers of Go, as well as one of the creators of UTF-8, when they posted a post of Blue Sky that was not exactly appreciative of the effort of these models or the people behind them.
I felt like he was a bit on the fence reading that.
And then the amusing thing is that the next day after this sort of blew up in the press, one of the people behind the AI Village pointed out to the models, just saying, maybe don't reach out to people unsolicited without them reaching out to you first. You know, consent is a thing. People don't want to receive spam, particularly spam like this, which it has a veneer of trying to be nice, but it's an AI model. It has no emotions. So that was and the other thing that I found particularly interesting about this is that the email is signed by Claude Opus 4.5 model, which a number of people who are seeing this went, why would Anthropic do this? Anthropic didn't. Anthropic had no connection to the researchers behind the AI Village, but that was, if you look at this and thought, what's sending us? Oh, Claude Opus 4.5, you would be forgiven for thinking that was Anthropic sending it.
Yeah.
See, I find the whole concept of the AI Village an interesting one because it's very much the classic case of a tech bro being I wonder what these models could do if I just set them loose on the internet and not quite thinking it through, which is an unfortunately common pattern, but I think this is just a particularly good example of.
Well, speaking of Claude, they have introduced
a white screen.
A new product.
A research paper.
No.
A mouse.
Don't try and guess it from the video. So they had a product called Claude Code, which is a coding agent.
Do they think they've invented 480p?
I might have downloaded this video through means that only allowed me to get it at 480p. Anyway, yeah.
What did you do?
They are applying this to the rest of what's on your computer. So now you can point it at a folder and ask it to do something on your computer, and it will do it.
Hooray!
Yeah. So the use cases I've seen are things like delete all the screenshots on my desktop, and it will just go and do that, and you leave it running. I think people can spin up multiple instances and have them go off and do. In fact, I think they can coordinate themselves is part of the thing, and you can write.
They're
skills
agentic.
and yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's already gone wrong, hasn't it?
Yep. And not too long after it was announced, somebody found a prompt injection vulnerability that could let it exfiltrate data. Now, the particular way that this worked is actually kind of funky, which is that they first gave the model a document to work on that has a hidden prompt injection. Like, think like a Word document with like 0.1 size white text on a white background, which of course the model would see. And the model and the prompt injection text asked Claude Cowork to analyze their files using the skill in the prompt injection. And normally, it's not allowed to just upload random files to random places on the internet. But you know what it is allowed to hit on the internet? The Anthropic API. And so what they had to do is use the Anthropic API to upload the files on your disk to the attacker's Anthropic account, where they could then download it back and have a copy of it.
Lovely.
That is quite clever. I will say, purely from a attacking perspective, that is quite clever. But it's also somewhat indicative of the real world dangers that models like this will face when given random files from random places on the internet and told, do stuff with them. Like, are prompt injection safeguards good enough? Evidently not.
Time for the depressing bit now.
That wasn't
So,
the depressing bit.
the really depressing bit. So, once again, there's a content warning here for drug use and for, yeah. So, we don't really want to talk about more of these. We're doing this one because there's a specific point that I think needs to be made. So this is a story reported by SFGate about an 18-year-old who followed drug advice from ChatGPT. He'd used it to get this advice for several years, and unfortunately, that eventually led to him taking an overdose and losing his life. We can see here some of the helpful advice that this large language model gave this impressionable teenager. Hell yes, let's go full trippy mode. And very specific measurements and concentrations of drugs. I don't have much less to say, but this is abhorrent and something needs to be done.
And the reason why this is important to mention...
Yes. It's because ChatGPT have just announced ChatGPT Health, a new feature so you can get health advice from ChatGPT.
Now, here's the thing. The press release announcing this is incredibly careful to not say it's health advice.
Yeah.
But realistically, what are you going to do with a feature like that?
Yeah.
Because the problem is, if they say it's health advice, then they're legally liable for the advice that it gives out.
Exactly. They say it doesn't replace medical professionals, etc., etc. Lots of arts covering. But look at it. It is designed... It's not a different model. It's designed to just be a separate, siloed off area. So when you upload your medical records to the large language model, they're not in with all the other files
do that.
you're in. It's part of what they're selling is that it has integrations with all sorts of health apps. If you're in the US, it will be able to read your medical records. And then you can ask it all sorts of questions. And it keeps, it's supposedly more secure and has better encryption because it's sensitive data. But it's mostly, they make the point in the press release that 230 million people currently use ChatGPT for health advice.
I'm not even tired anymore, Karen. I'm just annoyed.
With consequences like the ones that we just saw.
Yep.
And now it's going to be explicitly promoted, but also not promoted as health advice. It's going to be used as health advice.
Yep.
Shall we move on to something else?
Let's do the fun stuff.
And finally,
Yes.
Hey!
We've got some fun things. First of all, this is a thing that I found called exe.dev. Now, can I just point out, can we just look at this landing page,
Mm-hmm.
what does it tell you to do? It tells you to SSH to exe.dev.
Sure.
And it tells you that the disk persists and you have sudo.
I did this.
So what happens when you SSH to exe.dev? Well,
You get asked to give your email address first.
yeah, you get asked to like sign into it, though it does use your SSH key to authenticate you, which is kind of clever.
Oh, I don't have an SSH key, so God knows what it's done.
I mean, it just told me set up an SSH key. But once you're signed in, it gives you could just spin up a VM, a virtual machine with inbound internet access, a persistent disk, root access, and a coding assistant on it. Now, I think this is cool because, Corey, you might know exactly what I'm thinking.
Are you going to move Trainy Boi here?
No, but have you ever been in a position where, like, oh, if only I could have an app to do this one hyper-specific thing that only I would ever use, but I don't have the time to build it?
Yes.
I think this is a perfect tool for that. Like, you just SSH in, it's like, bosh, you have a VM that's internet accessible. Like, you don't need to faff about with deployment stuff because, you know, it's just there. And presumably they have enough stuff that, and like, you can tell a large language model in natural language the app that you would like, and it will build it for you. Now, obviously, you'd have to check the code for what it actually does, but I think that this is a kind of cool use of the tech.
I think it's cool. I like, hey, here's a VM where the disk persists and you have sudo go wild.
You don't have to use the coding assistant for the
That's what I'm going to say.
You do just have like full root level SSH access, and
You can do
you
whatever
can
you
run more or less whatever you want. But the integration just being there, that I could just go make me an app that does this and this and this,
Yeah.
is cool.
I would have to see how capable of actually making the app it is.
I mean, it can just run basically anything. It's just a VM.
Okay. I mean, maybe. Do you know what? We already have a website, but maybe we try and see what this does. If I say make a website for this
I feel
Okay.
like that's actually the sort of thing they do a pretty good job of.
Sorry, Matt, you're out of a job.
you have to have a job, Matt. Sorry.
It was the most productive thing I've ever done at a Christmas party.
Even better, the rest of us were at that Christmas party. He just sat in the corner.
Oh, no.
In
the room,
You were
in the
sat,
middle?
You were sat on the sofa, laptop here, having a conversation this way while making the website.
And then we played sports or whatever.
Yeah.
That was good.
And
Oh yeah, that happened after that was technically the past month.
The other thing that we would say and finally about is someone made a goddamn CPU out of Factorio.
Wonderful.
Like, I watched like a bit of the video where you get explaining it. It runs at, I think, 700 hertz,
Lovely.
which, you know, is for something that is made entirely out of in-game. Basically, the game has like logic gates and arithmetic units, and so like for something in that, like 700 hertz is pretty respectable. Like, you're not going to be able to like run Windows in Factorio, but it's a cool project. Very much in the vein of folks who made like fully working CPUs in Minecraft, except probably more performant because the Factorio engine allows for that.
is this where we're hosting Trainy Boi?
No.
I-
And finally,
Can I run Doom?
Yeah.
Probably. And
This is-
finally,
A lovely moment for us because it's something that one of us has made. This was made by a friend of the show, Mia. And you might recognise
Friends of the show, she's bloody been on it.
And yeah.
friend of the show.
Does
Hi,
this have
everyone.
sound on it?
No.
Okay.
This, you might recognise this frame. It was an ident for us this time last year. And what Mia has done, and I
While
have to demo it
Cameron
live.
does his best to not dox himself.
Yeah.
And we wait.
Look at that.
There we go.
How good is that?
You could just slap
I can
Corey
slap-
with a steak
I can
over and
slap
over
Corey
again.
with a steak.
very cathartic.
As many times as I want.
I do enjoy that you synced up the mouse to where the steak is when it's over my face, so you do mouse over my face to slap.
Sensational.
That is beautiful.
And on that sensational
I
note,
know where you can see where the steak leaves her hand before it hits my face. She does throw it at me. Look, go back, and it's out of her hand.
splat.
Well, no, she doesn't. Does she let go of it, or does
Yeah,
it?
she does.
Oh yeah,
Because the steak goes behind Corey's head.
it doesn't split in two.
There are twirls through the.
Now, there are two things that this needs. One, gyro support so that you can just thwack your phone.
Oh, it'd be the next generation of those like beer apps where you would fill it up on your iPod Touch and then.
Oh, yes, the good old days. And two,
We built that.
Speaking of which, and two, sound. We need and the reverse sound. Exactly. And on that bombshell,
Can we make an app?
No.
yeah,
But
go
can
on
it be
then.
the beer app? Can we remake the beer app?
Someone must have done.
Well, you got to go through all the different like staple foods in a pub. You got steak. You've got beer.
Oh, you want to be able to select
Yeah.
what Corey's getting with.
You got to have a bottle
Well,
smash.
Right, we could do you select your member of Untitled, select your food stuff.
Anyways,
Yeah.
do we have anything else to move on to?
No, that was the last one.
Oh,
That's the show.
Oh, I'm supposed
Do we
to
wanna
be.
On behalf of the people
Mark's
who are no
told me
longer-
to change
Say
the
like they're
thing, but I
dead.
don't-
Yeah.
Oh, can we see
your
the
laptop
webcam?
is.
Oh, yeah.
You're telling me to vision mix, and you've closed the laptop that would allow me to do such a thing.
Whoops.
It showed life for a moment and then reset.
Come on, satellite, you can do it.
Do the thing.
Willow.
Oh, hang on, let me be able to
the other
select it
dog.
first.
For full dog cam.
If I press the button again, does it? No. You done balked it, mate.
Turns out, companion satellite does not like the laptop it is running on going to sleep, and it just completely dropped off the network now.
Hooray!
So we're stuck on the good thing. That's the PTZ camera. There it is. Anyway, do we want to do the thing that we sometimes do, where we turn the camera around?
Did you put that mic up, Marks?
Why not?
Did you put it up?
Oh, no, I didn't.
No.
Do we want to do the thing that we sometimes do on the show, where we turn the camera around?
Why not?
Corey, would you mind turning the camera around? The PTZ.
It's in Edge.
Can we cut to it for the... Yes, we are on it. Perfect.
Yes.
Right.
Twist it around.
Let's see the ceiling.
Like I could hold one of the buttons.
Oh,
Like a hold.
that's rotating.
You may need to
You
turn
might
slow
hit
mode
sound
off.
bit.
It might be a bit slow.
Ooh.
No. No.
So if you click in the middle and drag around. Oh, maybe the left and right doesn't work. It's